Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Hey! What a day, what a day. It's party time. Austin Hedges is re-signed with the Guardians.
Let's do it. Let's party out.
I mean, great use of dollars on the worst player in baseball.
This
Way to
man,
go.
this guy, he has to be. The Lord loves Austin Hedges. I mean,
smiling on him.
$4 million.
Yeah.
Woo!
I would have thought it would have been cheaper just to sign him as a coach. Because he's headed to managing.
That's what he's
One
doing.
day he will be a manager of a Major League Baseball club. I think everybody agrees
yeah.
on that. And eventually he'll make that transition. He wants to play as long as he can. Everyone does. But
I don't know if I'd call it he does playing, but, you know.
Well, he does play. The technical
Allegedly.
definition of playing, he definitely fills that.
There goes my first of my plan for the Guardians to get a better catching upgrade. Oh, well.
Yeah, because they won't carry three.
I guess they're going to be content to just be competitive again.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Before we dive into the show, Mike McDaniel, I think it was Mike, he sent this out yesterday. Somebody sent it out. I saw it somewhere. That said the Cavaliers are spending the most dollars in the NBA this year, which means in Cleveland, well, this is so bizarre because we're a mid to small market. In Cleveland, you have the Cavaliers, number one on the NBA payroll list. They will spend more money on players this year than all other teams.
Right.
NFL, the Browns, number one on the NFL payroll list. They will spend more dollars this year than the other 31 NFL teams. And the team that has had the most consistent success, the Cleveland Guardians, come in 25th out of 30.
As of when?
2025, this past year.
Well, right now, they might be 30th out of 30.
Well,
yeah.
No, this was 25.
Yeah.
That's all we have. 26 is projection.
Right,
we don't know if they're going to. They better sign somebody. They better make a splash because I know the interview with Hosey was recirculating. That was from before the season.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of freaked out about that as if those were recent comments.
Yeah.
They just didn't get traction when he made them. But his comments before the season started were basically, and I'm paraphrasing, in the most loosest sense. Come on. You told me you were going to invest in the team. I haven't seen it.
Well, if he felt that way last year, I'm sure he still feels that way now.
Well, hopefully that message resonates and they spend some money.
You know what's so
My
crazy,
goodness.
really quickly? My cousin hit me up. He lives in Milwaukee. And apparently, he's even salty at the Haslams.
Well, because he's probably a Bucks fan.
So
too.
he's like, dude, like
ruined the Bucks.
He's like, listen, the Damian Lillard contract, and then they trade that, and
now they got an Antetokounmpo family reunion going on there.
Yo, I was like, this is why he was like, yeah, your boy Haslam. He's from Canton, so he watches the Browns.
He knows.
He knows. He's like, man, Haslam messing up everything. I said, what you mean? He said, yeah, the Bucks is going nowhere fast, and I totally forgot. I know he's not a majority owner, but he is.
I think he might be, Mike.
Is he the majority owner?
I think he is the majority owner now.
No.
Mike, is he?
Blitzer?
No, Haslam.
Haslam with the Bucks.
With the
With the Bucks.
It's progressing that way, but he's not currently the.
Oh,
Well,
okay. I thought I read a
every
report that
baseball
said
fan
it
base in
was.
America is hoping Jimmy Haslam doesn't buy their team.
Oh my God.
Would you let him buy the Guardians?
No.
Would you like him to buy the Guardians, Jay?
I'll relocate.
Even if he has bread?
It takes brains and dough. You've got to know how to do it. And he's proven that you can spend a lot of money in the NFL and win absolutely nothing.
Jay would take Social Security immediately. Bye.
While the Guardians have proven they can spend Minimoski money and make the postseason 8 out of the last 14 years. It's shocking. But what they've also proven is you're not going to take that final step. That's going to be taken by the Dodgers or the Mariners, teams that have boatloads of money invested into their players.
I mean, the Mariners are not spending crazy
well,
money.
they went at the trade deadline when they saw the finish line was. I think they saw what we were talking about. Wow, the American League's very winnable. Let's make some moves.
Right, but the Mariners are not a team that traditionally spends. But
No,
they
if you
went
look
for
at-
it this year.
Yeah, they did. That's my
something
point.
the Guardians should do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you see in July that, wow, we're hanging around, we've got a good club, put your foot on the pedal and pound the gas and take a chance.
I can't blame them for not doing it this year during the
No,
trade
I don't think
deadline,
this year was the year to
but
do it.
there have been other years where they haven't.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, Mike, busy show.
Busy show. Reminder, we started this yesterday. We're going to continue to do this, but at 12:15, we're cutting off Super Chats.
Yep.
So if you send in a Super Chat after 12:15, it will not be read. We'll read them all, the Super Chats, and we'll react to them all that come in before 12:15, but 12:15 is the cutoff. We have Ross Tucker and Spencer German joining us in a little bit. Before we dive into all of our topics for today, we have a new local sponsor here on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, one that I am thrilled to have joining the UCSS family. It is Mally's Chocolates. The holidays are right around the corner, and nothing says celebration like the perfect sweet treat. But let's be real, guys. Finding
like
that
the price
go-to
is right
gift
now.
or special indulgence for yourself can be overwhelming. Between the generic options and the mass-produced candy that just doesn't hit the same, it's easy to settle for less when all you want is something truly special. That's where Mally's Chocolates comes in. Cleveland's favorite chocolatier since 1935, and this year they're celebrating 90 years of making Northeast Ohio's sweetest moments even sweeter. Their collection is incredible, from chocolate-covered pretzels to Buckeyes, and I mean the best Buckeyes in the entire state, to Billy Bob's, Malio's. You can even shop online and have it delivered right to your door. Celebrate 90 years of Cleveland's sweetest tradition with Mally's Chocolates. Visit one of their 18 Northeast Ohio locations or shop online at malleys.com. That's MALLEYS.com. Taste the tradition, taste Mally's, and they were kind enough to send us in a couple of samples here, guys, that we're going to test out real quick. Bull,
Here we go.
our perfect candy model, is now showcasing the milk chocolate-covered pretzels, including we also have some caramel-filled pumpkins, a toffee bar. Test them out, guys. How they
Coffee's
taste?
great. These we had these up in the newsroom yesterday, upstairs at Channel 3. And typically, Mike, you know this, you've worked in TV newsrooms, you could put out deep-fried cat waste
Oh, boy.
in a newsroom, and it would be gone in 7 seconds. Am I right?
It'd be
Doesn't
devoured.
matter what it is.
Absolutely devoured.
You could put anything on there. The Mally's
crazy.
chocolates were put out on the free
That
food
looks crazy.
table upstairs in the newsroom yesterday, and in one blink, I opened my eyes again, and everything was gone. Because everybody knows that Mally's has the best chocolate, but
Chocolate-covered pretzels are awesome.
they're insane.
My
I had
favorite is
one of
the
those.
pretzel bar. Have you had the pretzel bar? It's like
Yeah, I
it's
haven't
almost
had
like a Nestle's Crunch, but
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there
It's
were some
better.
of those up there, too.
Jay,
They
we
went
showcased
fast.
the other box, the pumpkins and some of the other stuff we have besides just the pretzels.
Is there the is this the toffee in the box?
Yeah.
No, the box is the caramel-filled pumpkins.
This right here.
There's a toffee bar, and there's a maple something delicious nugget of joy right next to you, Jay.
Yeah.
This
That was good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's insane. And here's the best part about it. It's Cleveland's own. It's a local product. You're helping support a very successful local company already.
And
but
because we are trying to eat healthy, I will tell you this, right? My doctor told me a glass of red wine is good for your blood pressure,
benefits.
and 1 bar of dark chocolate is also good.
this one is dark chocolate.
That is
here.
a fact.
If you want,
Dark chocolate has some good
dark
properties
chocolate
to
has
it.
some good. Now don't get aggressive. Don't do too much. Don't spaz out.
G. Bush told me I could.
No. G. Bush didn't
one.
tell you to go get the whole
Yeah.
the 6-pack because your kids is trick or treating. You just ate a whole bag of Hershey's. No, under no circumstances. But you can't have one. And these.
Dark
It is
chocolate
hard.
okay.
It is hard to eat like the more traditional, like nationally brand candy bars after eating Mally's, because Mally's is so much better. It's just the
just
quality
completely
of the
different.
chocolate is just so much better.
Yeah, and it's Sweetest Day. And, that's kind of a Midwest thing. I bet you, Bull, when you lived in New York, you never heard of it.
Never heard of
I
it.
had never heard of it.
Yeah, Mike,
I think it's tracks to Cleveland. I'm pretty sure Sweetest Day, whoever
Yeah,
thought it
it's
up, is a Clevelander. It's big in the Midwest. When I lived in the Northeast and even down in Florida, and I would mention, I would say to my coworkers, hey, did you cover honey with Sweetest Day?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like,
What is that?
What's the Sweetest Day you speak of?
Yeah.
It's a big, big Midwest holiday. You can score major bonus points by just ordering up some Mally's chocolates delivered to your front door, and then you're a hero to the girlfriend, wife, a significant other, because you made life easy on all of them.
And there's a lot of convenient locations, obviously. I go to the one in Lakewood. There's one in Rocky River. There's one in whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're all over.
there's one in a lot of different towns in the area. Conveniently
Beautiful.
located.
Let's
So
dive
we're-
into the
Yeah, we're
Browns.
thrilled to have Mally's on as a sponsor, and
Great to
check
have
them out
them.
at mallysoh.com. All right, guys, let's talk about some football. This weekend, the lines are out for the Browns-Miami Dolphins game, and It started at 2.5. The line has actually moved into -3 now for the Browns. It's the first time they've been favored in a game this season. Guys, is the right team favored in this game with the way the Browns have been playing? Should they be favored over anyone in football right now? Bull?
I actually thought this game would be a pick'em. I am surprised that it went up to 3 because 3 is a pretty big number to go from 2.5 to 3 is a pretty big deal, which means a lot of the money is being bet on the Browns, shockingly. But it's not crazy because the Dolphins are in that class with the Browns where they're also a very bad team. They also have major dysfunctional issues in their franchise. I mean, Tua basically ripped his teammates. I'm sure his teammates are not happy about it. If you look at the odds of who's the next coach to get fired, Stefanski and Mike McDaniel are both on the top of the list. So both of these franchises are in a terrible spot right now. And the Browns are at home, which is ultimately why they're favored. I mean, because on a neutral side, it's a pick'em game. I think the Dolphins might be a hair better than the Browns, but maybe I'm just so bogged down in how bad the Browns are that I'm not seeing clearly how that the Dolphins are just as bad. So would I bet on the Browns to cover? No chance. This is a stay-away game for me, but I guess I'm not shocked that the Browns are a slight favorite at home.
This is a game that if I was on FanDuel, I'm definitely not betting no money on nothing. This is a game this is a trap
total
game.
Stay away.
This is trap game all over. I fully expect that you could come out there and you could see anything. I could see the Browns run away with it. I could see the Dolphins run away with it. I could see it be a game where it's a 9-6 type football game. Like it's good. That bad. Like to me. But it has to be either way you cut it. I think it has to be a must win. I was talking about this earlier. It has to be a must win for the Browns because when you look at the Dolphins, their team that is even in worse shape than you, I believe, Bull, in terms of their quarterback chirping, in terms of what's going on. You lose, Tyreek Hill for the season. They look like they don't have anything to play for. Look how many points they're giving up. 29 points a game. They're giving up pass yards, rush yards, all of it. So to me, if you're the Browns and you're 1-5, this is the line where the basement is. And I'm gonna tell you this: if they come out here and it's at home and they lose this type of football game, that's when stuff starts to unravel for you.
Well, the team that loses this game, their coach has got to be on the sizzling hot
I mean, at that point, it's going to be very tough. You're going to have to. People are going to start talking about the quarterback. People are going to start talking about the coach immediately. And if you're Kevin Stefanski and you're Dylan Gabriel, this is a winnable football game, Jay. Get this win, and you get people not talking about you for a couple of weeks, and at least stave off and keep people at bay. But if you lose this game, I don't know where you're going to find the other wins at.
Yeah, Jason's been saying his mantra going back to July was they're not trying to win. And I don't like that. I don't think anybody likes it. They're not trying to win. If they lose this game, I'm going to change that to they don't want to win. What's the difference? The difference is they're already jockeying for the number 1 overall draft pick. That's what happens when a team doesn't want to win. You know, the coaches always want to win. The players want to win. But the temperature in the building, the culture is set by everybody in the building. And if the players can sniff that management doesn't want to win, they fall in line very quickly. Very rarely will you see a major league plot. Remember the movie Major League where the owner wanted to lose and the team said, the owner be damned. We're going to rally together and we're going to. That almost never happens in real life. In real life, when the owner wants to lose and the general manager wants to lose, the players see that and they emulate that. So the line, I think, is just right. These are 2 bottom feeders in the NFL. They're both 1-5. I think Miami has the better football team. I'll tell you why in a second. The reason the Browns are a 3-point favorite is what's the rule in Vegas? Home team gets 3. And there it is. I think Vegas does look at this game very much as a wash, but I think they're looking at it and say, well, it's in Cleveland. We got to give them the 3-point home field advantage, so that's where it sits. The reason I think Miami is a better football team, just look at the offenses. And I know their offense has sputtered, and Tua suddenly looks like he's not the answer to the problem. But their offense through 6 games has averaged 21 points. What's the number that we can't get to?
Lately, it's 7 to 18.
It was 21.
Yeah,
now it's 17. So I don't know that our offense can do it. I think they will. I think they can, but I'm not sure what Miami's offense is going to be able to do against our defense. This is a winnable game. This game is a winnable game, even though I think Vegas has the line correct. This is what has to happen. Dylan Gabriel has to play another turnover-free game. He has to take, I would say, a large step in his progression. Mm-hmm. I want to see him throwing the ball further than 1 second in the air. Yeah. Most of his footballs, when he throws, are not in the air for more than 1 second. That's astonishing. I need more than 5-yard passes. That pass chart looks like a rugby chart.
It looks like a run chart.
It does. It doesn't resemble anything that I've ever seen in my entire life when it comes to a pass chart. What's the furthest ball downfield?
Look at
12 yards.
Look at the line of scrimmage.
29 yards is the deepest.
1, 2, 3,
where's
4,
the,
5.
Where's the 29? I
top left.
Top left.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't see that one.
There's 6 passes at or
I'm
behind
talking about
line
completions.
Right.
The
green
furthest
ones.
completion
is about 12 yards.
Is 12 yards downfield.
Yeah.
13 yards.
That can't happen. He's got to look and complete balls down the field. And if that happens, I think they can get a win. But I will take the step if they lose to they're not trying to win to they don't want to win. And there is a difference.
Can I actually go into that? Jason says a lot, and he says all the time, hey, they're not trying to win. They're not trying to win. They aren't, right? My question to you two is, if you go back and you look historically, when teams are not trying to win, statistically, will this exercise work?
No.
It won't.
It never does.
It never does. And can a coach and GM survive this? If they aren't trying to win,
I don't know. We keep saying, and obviously Jason's the one who started this, says they're not trying to win. I don't believe that they're not trying to win. What I believe is the organization's top priority is not winning. Obviously, as you said, the players and coaches, they're not trying to win. Yes, I think you can get, when you feel like the organization is not behind you and the organization doesn't care about winning or it's not a priority, then eventually it wears on you as a team and you go in the wrong direction.
Is cancer.
Yes, there's no doubt about it. And I don't think it works. I mean, they're probably, if we go through enough teams and enough sports, we'd probably find a couple of situations where it did end up working, but I think that's just because they got lucky.
Yeah.
Like, right, it's not like this is a fail-proof strategy. You know, people say, well, the Astros, they turned it around because they tanked. No, if you look at some of their top, now they got a couple of their top picks, right? But if you look at, there was back-to-back years.
They also acquired talent from
Right.
outside of the organization.
But the 2 years where they really tanked and they got high picks, they blew. I can't even remember who they are. They blew both of those picks.
One of them was Mark Appel was one of them.
Mark Appel.
Who literally,
Yeah.
I think he made his MLB debut like this year,
Yeah.
last year.
Right,
crazy.
for the Phillies, I think. And so
now, in fairness, it is harder to hit on those picks in baseball than it is in football.
agreed, which is why is even
Which is
stupider
even
to
dumber
do it
to
in
try
baseball.
to do it in baseball.
Yeah, exactly. So I just don't. I don't understand it. I don't understand it in basketball because there's a lottery anyway.
Facts.
Right? It doesn't.
Can anyone think of a situation where a team knowingly tanked? The one that comes to mind for me are the Sixers,
it hasn't worked.
It just blew, and everybody kept saying this is a process.
Right.
When they tell you it's a process, what they're saying is, give us 5 years. We have to suck for 2 or 3, and then when we get those top picks, we have to parlay them into NBA superstars.
Yeah.
Well, the 76ers famously did not.
Right.
And so I can't think, Bull and G, I can't think of the NFL experience where a team knowingly threw a season or 2 away in hopes of getting the quarterback right and turning it all around. And because the Bengals weren't intentionally tanking when they got Joe Burrow.
Yeah, no.
They just were bad.
I could give you, and you talk about baseball, it's foolhardy in baseball. The most foolhardy tank job is in football. I'll give you 2 examples. JOK was a great player.
Yeah.
in one injury,
One play.
gone.
Yeah.
David Bell just came out yesterday and said, guys, I know you were wondering where I've been at. I got a situation where I can no longer play football.
I'm retired.
So I'm done. So
don't tank in football because you're one snap away from it blowing up in your face.
That's your second round pick and a third round pick. Oh, by the way, we had a nice young core, and then Nick Chubb blew his knee out, and then he was done. So
I thought of one case where you could argue
point, G.
it kind of worked, even though in the long run it didn't. When Peyton Manning got hurt, the following year the Colts did really tank. And then they got Andrew Luck.
but it didn't work.
In the long run, it did. It worked in the short term because you got the great quarterback,
sure.
and then it eventually didn't work.
And evaporated because, once again, of the savage nature of football, it was suck for luck.
Yeah.
You traded Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
He won his Super Bowl.
Yes.
After that.
That's right.
You had luck and couldn't put a line around him, and he was so beat up.
And his career was short and
it was short and over. And then you were back on the clock.
The reality is that most of the good organizations, the organizations that are consistently good in sports, don't ever do this.
No.
The Steelers have never tanked.
Ever. I can't think of it. And I don't know.
Have the 49ers ever tanked?
No.
Not intentionally.
Yeah,
Patriots, the Chiefs.
like these two, and maybe they haven't. We're just not thinking of it.
To your point, how old do you think Andrew Luck is?
He's 30.
32.
He's 36.
Oh, he's even that old.
So if we, and I know it's not fair to use this scale because it's one of one that's done it, but if you apply him to the Brady scale, he's been out of the game for 7 or 8 years.
He's a Hall of Fame candidate next year.
He should have 10 more years if he was following the Brady model.
Yeah.
They sucked for Luck. He gets popped because they have an awful line around him. He retires. That blew up in their face.
Everywhere.
And the quarterback that they pushed out the door went and got a ring.
And then let's give you this. They talked about generational. Ain't no more hype than having Andrew Luck and RG3. And what happened to RG3?
Yeah, no, exactly.
He was the rookie of the year. All of a sudden, one little play in his rookie year, he makes a cut, he blows out his knee, is never the same.
Now in the end, you know, even if you do it the right way, even if you don't, that could still happen. Guys could still retire or whatever.
Yeah, but you didn't intentionally stink for 2 seasons.
But the point is, and there's something to be said, especially a guy like Myles Garrett, who's now kind of been around for 2 of these things, or Joel Bitonio. The losing, there's no way you can have the same enthusiasm about playing the game, wanting to win. There's no way it wears you down.
I agree, Bull, especially when you're used to winning.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the things that we have to talk about, I always say Jerry Jones' obituary, somewhere in the first paragraph, has to be the fact that he fired Tom Landry, who is a Hall of Fame coach, Jimmy Johnson, and Barry Switzer. And he did it all within a very short period of time.
Yeah.
That's part of his ultimate legacy. The Browns and what they've done, and I'm not going to pin all of this on Jimmy Haslam because for many of those years, Haslam wasn't the owner. But the legacy of the last 25 years of our Cleveland Browns is we wasted the Hall of Fame careers of Joe Thomas and Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Like, you're given generational talents, guys that would be in the conversation. For Joe Thomas, I think top 10 ever to play at his position. For Myles Garrett, when it's all said and done, he could well be top 3 ever to play his position.
Yeah.
And what did we accomplish with these 2 generational players, one on offense and one on defense? Nothing.
0.
It is a colossal fail.
One
of the
playoff
win
win between them.
It's mind-boggling.
I mentioned this on the post-game show we did live from Sweet Pork Wilson's, and I know it's not exactly apples to apples because it's different sports, but I knew someone who was on the 76ers staff during the Doc Rivers tenure. When They still had Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid.
Right.
And this person continually told me from the day he got to Philadelphia to the day he left, Embiid and Simmons do not know how to win. They grew up in the tank job, in the process. And when they became the guys that were supposed to be the leaders of the team, that all the younger players looked up to, they never knew how to be in that situation. They never learned how to be in that situation to win. And despite their immense talents, and Simmons obviously flamed out, and his whole situation was unique, and Embiid has his injury issues, but they were never capable of being leaders. And when you look at where they've gotten to, or where they haven't gotten to,
No.
Embiid's never made an Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
Simmons has had playoff success elsewhere, but it's nothing to do with him.
He's a bum.
And they had all these expectations year after year.
Yeah.
And when push came to shove, those two guys were never able to deliver.
That's
when
a great
it mattered
point.
Most.
Yeah,
and he just attributes it to those first 4 or 5 years in the league when you're at your most
that's
formidable.
a player's incubation period, isn't it?
And they were surrounded by a losing philosophy.
I'll use another Philly guy, but not a Sixer, that's the antithesis of that, and that's Kobe Bryant.
Yes.
Walk into Kobe Bryant's locker room once and say, Kobe, here's the plan. We're going to suck on purpose. We'll see how that goes over.
He might punch you.
Try walking into a Michael Jordan-led locker room and say, Mike, we got to restock the cooler. We've got to suck for 2 or 3 years. Try pushing that to these guys that are
LeBron
perennial
would do
winners.
it if you paid him enough.
Yeah, I didn't throw LeBron in there intentionally. No, I didn't throw him in
That's
there
not fair,
intentionally.
maybe.
It's not, but the early years of his career were very rough.
Yeah.
You know, and same for Michael. Michael, there was a major learning curve. With Kobe, Kobe stepped into the league into an environment that was a winning environment. And if it wasn't, he quickly made it a winning environment. Call it the Petri dish. And what you grow in that Petri dish is what your results are, right? Like if a farmer's Petri dish is his field and his soil, how rich is it? That determines the fruit that it bears.
Take a look at this.
In football, it's the locker room. That's the soil. What grows from that soil? It depends on the quality of the soil.
This is the soil and the fruits that the Browns inherited when they got here. Denzel Ward was 23. Myles Garrett was 24. Baker Mayfield was 25. Nick Chubb was 24. Wyatt Teller was 26. And Joe Bitonio was 29. So if you look at the core of what they had then, given to them, and where they are today,
it's criminal.
These is prime numbers. I remember sitting here talking about the Cleveland Browns having the best roster under a certain age, the best roster with 25. Now, also throw in the fact that you did still have David Njoku, and you did still have Jarvis Landry, and you did still have Odell Beckham Jr. in this case. You take a look at that. This is daunting because they have not. Now, Quinshon Judkins, we still like. You know, they replaced one of the guys, but you have no replacement for Bitonio, none for Wyatt Teller. There's no replacement at quarterback that it looks like readily available. And you still got your 2 best defensive players are still Denzel Ward and Myles Garrett. So, you know, we talk about having a nice draft class, but that's nice. It's cool.
In 18, 19, 20, this was an organization that was young, that was set up to succeed and compete for a decade. And we watched them dismantle it piece by piece by piece in front of our very eyes. And now we're left with another team that we're talking about is already in the running for the number 1 overall draft pick. Another thing that I can't remember this. I was going to say this on the show Monday, but I wanted to research it, and I still haven't. Mike, maybe you can look at the standings. Correct me if I'm wrong. Are there like 7 teams with only 1 win?
Let me count.
There's only 7 teams in the AFC over 500. I know that.
Yeah. Well, the reason I bring that up, Bull, is because oftentimes there's 2 teams in the top
6.
pick bowl.
6.
Okay. There's
a lot this year.
There's 6 teams that have 1 loss. Normally,
1 win.
1 win. Normally, if you're jockeying for position to get that first overall pick, there's 2, maybe 3. Last year, I think there were 3. We were in that conversation for a minute.
Yeah.
This year, we're a third of the way through the season. We're more than a third of the way through the season. We're about 40% through the season. We've got 6 teams that are in the running. You could, suck for luck, and you could end up with the 6th pick. That's not going to solve what their problems are.
Well, and we don't even know right now who the top pick is. Yeah.
Right now, who's the first pick? Nobody knows.
This is, to me, this is one of the worst drafts to have the first pick because, and this is what I was saying. This muddies everything up. Before the season, when we talk about your quarterback or whatever you got, you can't forecast what it is. Once you see it, now you couldn't be in a worse position because now I frankly do not trust their judgment on quarterback, period. I don't care.
We shouldn't.
They could throw a dart at the board or whatever the case may be. And the fact that they don't know what they're doing in the draft class where there's no separation, and you're going to have 5 guys over here that say this guy's number 1 pick, 5 guys that say, hey, this is a sleeper, you should take him. This is one of those draft classes where, go back to the Baker draft class, right? There may be some guys that are good in that draft class, but if you ended up with Baker after a while, you were good. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, but let's not forget there's a Josh Rosen in that mix.
Sure.
There's a few guys. Who else is the other?
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold was, but then he turned. So I don't know. So having a first pick, is that really a lottery ticket?
Yeah, when you have a draft record of not being able to assess quarterbacks, wide receivers, linemen,
And you need all 3.
Yeah, that's why, the whole, they're not trying to be good. That's just step 1 of another disaster.
Good teams find pick good players no matter where they're drafting.
The Ravens are an
Steelers.
example. The Steelers, the Rams.
And I'm scared.
They find good players.
What if the Ravens, I'm scared to death that the Ravens and the Bengals are bad this year because their quarterbacks were out, and they get top 5 picks.
Lamar's coming back after the bye, so
they'll turn it around.
I do think that yesterday the big topic of conversation was how upset Tomlin was. This was Monday over the Joe Flacco move. It doesn't make Cincinnati any. I don't think it makes them any worse.
Oh no.
And I think he has a great deal of respect for Joe Flacco, and he doesn't like the fact now that Cincinnati, because I think he thinks it's a cakewalk to the division if Cincinnati doesn't have Joe Flacco.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it makes a difference. The Bengals are not going anywhere. The Ravens are the only threat.
I mean, but the Steelers ain't even that good, bro.
No.
I know, but the
They're
Bengals aren't going to win anything with Joe Flacco as quarterback. He's just not any good. But if Lamar comes back soon, the Ravens will make a run. I bet you that. But
Harbaugh said after the bye he's coming back. And they have a bye this week.
I wouldn't count the Ravens.
They're
out
not
at all.
out of it. The Bengals.
Boy, they've given themselves a Bengals type hole to dig out of.
They got to.
Oh,
they gotta
huge.
climb.
Yeah. But
Let's go from one head coach to another after a quick word from Game Time. Guys, the NFL season is back, and there's nothing better than being in the stadium surrounded by fans cheering on your team. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle between the wait screens, the login process, and prices jumping at checkout. It's frustrating. That's why we all use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. Game Time's fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee, where you'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best prices. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, that's promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, and go. Download Game Time today. Bull, you mentioned this a little earlier, and I'm glad you did, but both Stefanski and Mike McDaniel are certainly on the hot seat. They are now at the top of the next coach to be fired list after Bill Callahan got canned in Tennessee. So do you envision a world where the loser of this game on Sunday could be without their head coach come Tuesday? Could the loser of this game get fired? Is it at that level?
I think it's more likely that Mike McDaniel would get fired than Kevin Stefanski, even though I don't know what Jimmy Haslam's thinking. It's felt all along that once you decided not to fire Kevin Stefanski at the end of last year, that he probably has a pass for this season, but certainly with Jimmy's track record, and certainly with how things have been so bad this year, I think that's a possibility to change. I said that I would let Kevin Stefanski finish out the year and give him a chance to change my mind if I was Jimmy Haslam, and if he doesn't, I'd fire him at the end of the year, because I don't know that firing a coach in the middle of the year accomplishes much. However, I don't think it's impossible. It's been a total disaster. I do think if the Dolphins lose this game, I think there's a very reasonable chance that Mike McDaniel will get fired. Mike McDaniel just might, it's again another example, as I brought up yesterday, where there's some guys that are just assistant coaches, and teams are so hot and bothered to hire the hot coordinator. But being a good coordinator doesn't necessarily make you a good head coach. There's different skill sets you need as a human being to be a good head coach versus being a coordinator. And Mike McDaniel does not come off as a leader of men. He's really smart. He's creative. He's probably going to go somewhere and be an excellent offensive coordinator. But he's not a head coach. I think that's clear. Now, maybe it'll turn around a second time around. That's why I've been advocating for Brian Flores. I think Brian Flores, second time around, is going to be a hit as head coach. I'd even be fine if the Browns hired Brian Flores, their head coach, and Mike McDaniel as their OC. I'd be fine with that. But
wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, right. I doubt it's going to happen.
I think he could be a good coordinator.
Right, but yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance Mike McDaniel is going to get fired if the Dolphins lose this game.
Yeah, listen. So
feels like he's lost the team.
Yep. Well, when you got your quarterback openly questioning leadership, that's a death
right.
knell.
Where as bad as things are for the Browns, that's not
it hasn't devolved to that yet.
Yeah.
You bring up a good point, and this is a lot of it, and a lot of people just simply just don't even glaze over. They just like, oh, that's not a part. A head coach is just not about X's and O's and calling plays and whether your third down call was correct or not.
Right.
It's how can you diffuse certain things. Like, you're supposed to be talking and communicating, and I just don't like the fact that he does not use the media more. Use the media. It's
talking about Stefanski.
Yeah, it's a powerful thing. Because if you give people real comments and real thoughts, people will say, okay, I can understand where you're coming with that. You can also do certain things to get guys motivated and keep going. Like, if it's Myles Garrett, and Myles Garrett says those comments, and they come out the next week, and you say, listen, I mean, I echo what Myles Garrett is saying. I'm saying the same thing.
Yeah.
It's every other week. It's the same week we doing it. And trust me, we understand that. And if you admit that, you're like, oh, okay, I see what you're saying there, bro. But this is a bigger thing. We've already been through this. See, the problem with the Browns is, and Browns fans is, we always understand but can't figure and wrap our head around what's going on. Now let's go. This is Groundhog's Day. We've been here. For people who feel there is no collateral damage for losing, you're crazy. So in February 2022, Hugh Jackson claimed on record that the Browns front office paid him a bonus to lose games, while Haslam publicly denied this, calling the claim a falsehood and stating that Jackson never took responsibility for the team's poor performance under his tenure. In a series of tweets, Jackson suggested the Browns intentionally incentivized losing during the early years of his coaching tenure. And he goes on to say, even after they went 1-31, they gave him an extension.
Which kind of backs up his claim, by the way.
Which backs his claim up. Now, think about this. We've been hearing, oh, they're not trying to win. They're not trying to win. And they know that Kevin is safe right now because this is what Jimmy had told them. And it wasn't, Deshaun Watson wasn't on them. So they just take it. No. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you about a good businessman. A good businessman and a good politician is only, when you got the political capital behind you, you can make a lot of decisions. You ever notice why people, when they get about to get out of office, they make a turn? Now, 99% of the time when you get in that Senate, you're going to vote with the party. But when you already primaried, or when you know you about to retire,
suddenly you grow a conscience.
My conscience cannot vote on this bill.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
That happens a lot. Jimmy Haslam will tell you all the way up. But when it comes politically toxic, and his name is in the mud, and people catch on that you trying to tank, you will become a sacrificial lamb. The collateral damage of losing, someone's going to pay for it. It ain't going to be him. He owned the team. No. But somebody will fall.
Yeah, I had forgotten about that, G. I'm glad you brought that up. I had forgotten about that controversy. And at the time, a lot of people killed Hugh Jackson for it. I thought, it can't be true. But now that I know the Browns, I'm like, it probably is true.
Probably right.
But then the other part of that was, like, he wouldn't go public with it.
Why would he say that?
Why would he go public with it? But I think he kind of realized, oh, my career is
done.
I'm done here.
I'm never getting another job.
And the only chance I have to save my skin is to come out and call it what it was. I was told to tank. And it's a bad strategy. It's a losing strategy. It forms the culture of a losing organization. And the fact that we're doing it, by the way, so quickly after doing it once, it wasn't even a decade removed, and we're doing it again.
There were guys there that remember Myles Garrett.
He was there.
He was there.
I've lived this twice. On the interesting about back to the point of firing, I wish I had $1 for every time in my career since I've been working in sports media that I saw a coach get a vote of confidence and get fired within the calendar year.
Yeah.
A lot of times it happens within the month.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
In fact,
The vote of confidence sometimes a bad thing.
well, but no, listen.
It's sometimes
in
like
sports
if you
media,
have to say something, you know something underneath
in
is
sports
happening.
media, it's called the kiss of death. Come here, let me kiss your cheek.
Yeah.
That is the kiss of death.
Fredo, don't get kissed.
It happens. It happens a lot more than you'd think. And all that being said, I do think Stefanski gets the year. I do.
Yeah.
After that, depending on how bad this movie ends, I don't know that he gets a year after this. Even with Jimmy saying, "Yeah, everybody's fine," you can say one thing, but when you read enough headlines and your name's taken enough arrows, you got to do something. And Jimmy's proven to be that guy. But I do think with you, Bull, I think if Mike McDaniel loses this game,
Yeah, he's gone.
the optics of it is, wait, we just lost to another bottom feeder on the heels of a week in which our de facto leader questioned leadership on the team.
Right.
We've lost, it's when the inmates start to run the prison that everything starts to be looked at from 30,000 feet. And I think Mike McDaniel, and I agree with you, I think he's a really bright offensive mind, but he has proven that it's been a slow and steady decline since his immediate jolt to the arm when he got the job.
Yeah.
It's been a slow and steady decline to the point where I don't think he's going to make a good head coach. And by the way, he won't be the first coordinator that was a whiz coordinator that failed miserably at being a head coach. Josh McDaniels is another one.
Yeah,
Mike Martz was cold back in the day.
There were a lot of them.
Can you bring up that picture of McDaniel again, Mike?
The first one? of him
Buddy
looking
Ryan.
down?
The one you just had on the screen.
This one?
No.
It's going to go
cycle
through.
through.
You tell us when to stop it, Bull.
All right. So, there.
Nope.
It's the last one. Not that one. Not that one. It's where you can see there's a theory going around.
Yeah, his capri shorts. I
You
think
can't wear the
next
capri
picture.
pants. That the two coaches that wear capri pants are Mike McDaniel and what's his name with the Jets?
Aaron Glenn.
Aaron Glenn.
He's
They're
on thin ice,
They're
too.
both wearing capri pants. A head football coach can't
It's
wear
this
capri
picture.
pants.
You can't see his ankle.
But you're right, Bull. That's not a
good look for him.
I mean, Harbaugh took slack for wearing khakis, but I mean, they're khakis. His ankles are covered and they win.
Yeah.
You can't be the overly tough, over the top defensive minded coach. You can't you got to have some soft qualities in terms of, hey, I need to at least soften the blow. I can't be up here going crazy on the media because then they're gonna hunt you out. Then they're gonna get you up out of here.
Aaron Glenn's going to get fired after 1 year.
You think he'll make it through the year?
I think so, but they don't play that game.
I saw Mike Greenberg already.
In New York, you
called
can't.
for his
You
job.
can't.
Yeah.
You got to have guys. Go back. Listen, what you guys need to do is go get you some old school corporate compliance. Dust off them playbooks and them books. Go send them to a retreat in Myrtle Beach. Get up at 7 o'clock and drink your coffee, and they tell you how to be nice to each other and tell each other your bad names, but saying it in a nice way. Yeah, you got to learn how to write emails for a living.
Haslam has to be thinking, thank God for Woody Johnson. Thank God that there's another team that's as inept or more inept than we are, because they really are right now. They're cousin organizations.
By the way, another thing, I don't understand why every year fans think that Justin Fields is going to be good when he goes to a new place.
He's just bad.
I don't understand this.
Oh my goodness!
A lot of people, a lot of my friends who are Jet fans were like, "Yeah, Justin Fields is going to be."
Hold on.
What?
You know what, McNuggets?
Yeah, based on what?
Yeah.
McNuggets, I'm so stupid. Oh, this is crazy. So let me hold on. Let me give you this. So we've been talking about this dome and it's 29, right?
Yeah.
And you know how goodwill works, right? Mm-hmm. And we said we just got to be good by the time the dome comes.
Yeah.
Why are we not thinking about this? The same way that dome is coming 4 years down the pipeline. Why would you even consider bringing old furniture into a new house? The best way to build goodwill and the best way to bamboozle people is give me a brand new upstart regime.
A new hire always looks good.
A new hire, a new vision. You can even remarket and rebrand yourself.
Yeah, but there's enough time for Barry and Stefanski to get fired and their replacements to get fired before we move into the dome.
We got enough time for that.
So to me, I'm just gonna say it. I don't care what they do. The rebrand is coming and the rebrand is happening. It may not happen now, but if you get another coach and another vision and he's completely different, he's gonna at least Jay, get a 2-3 runway right on
and you
up.
can fool enough people into buying season tickets if you hire the new shiny object.
There you go. I don't know why you dummy. You should have been thinking about this right now, G. Bush. You're a fool. Thank you.
Bad job out of you, G. Bush.
Bad job.
All right, guys, let's get to our next topic. It's brought to us by FanDuel. The NFL season is here. FanDuel is an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to download the FanDuel app today and get started. All right, guys, we were going to talk about this yesterday. We ran out of time, but it still applies to today's panel and today's conversation. We had talked early in the season, Jay and G, you guys specifically harped on how good the Browns defense was early on. Completely stymied the Green Bay offense. They held the Bengals to just 17 points in the opener. We were very impressed, and some of you even mentioned the word elite when referring to the Browns defensive unit. Bull never went that far. To his credit, Bull never went that far. But some of us, and Tyvis, who's not here, were also part of the category mentioning them as an elite unit. After what we saw against the Pittsburgh Steelers, G, can you still consider this Browns defense an elite unit, or is some of the shine from earlier in the season worn off?
Here's what you got to understand about defense. As a former defensive player, 90% of defense is attitude, want to, hustle, intensity, physicality,
effort.
Yeah, that's it. Any defense that's great, I'll show you a defense that has all those traits, and they bring that type of energy to practice. They bring it to the games, and they bring it to the other opponent. However, you know what the kryptonite to any of those things are? An offense that is not actively pulling their part, but even worse is an offense that is actively hindering them. So when you have to play that way, emotionally, physically, mentally, and you can't make mistakes, you got to play hard every single time, and you beat up because you're on the field all the time, and you know your offense can't score points, you get what Myles Garrett has right now. Myles Garrett can wreck games at will, seemingly. But right now with Myles Garrett is his spirit is diminished. You go to his life points. Denzel Ward's life points is diminished. He's like, yo, you a grown man. You like, I was crying during the middle of the week because my teammate got traded. Myles Garrett, like, man, how does it feel when you watch T.J. Watt on the other side consistently win, and you feel like you're a better player than him, and they win? Now, listen, am I crying for him? No, listen, at the end of the day, they both got extensions. They got the money. They'll be rich forever. But the reality is being rich forever don't have nothing to do with the effort and the energy that it takes to put on that football field. And Joe Thomas will tell you, after a certain point in time, you just don't have no more. And when that tank is empty, and that's the best part of your team, you're in trouble. To answer your question, do you still consider the Browns an elite defense? No, absolutely not. Because what it takes for you to be an elite defense is all the things we mentioned, and that's not there. And Jim Schwartz is even chirping a little bit on accident. He's like, man, come on, you done traded my best corner. I got to play man coverage with a new dude all week. That takes away from it. And the worst thing, we've seen this before, the worst thing ever, you go back to them Buddy Ryan teams. When Buddy Ryan start getting his defenses popping, and it was the Buddy Ryan versus the rest of the team, you ain't coming back from that. Even if that team is great, you need to be unified, because when the players start having players only meetings on the defensive side of football, it's all she wrote for the coach.
Yeah, I don't disagree with one single thing you said there. It is effort, and I always equate it to the tug of war. Unfortunately, Myles Garrett is your anchor. He's your strongest guy. He's on the back end of the rope. And when the anchor lets go, the tug of war is over. The rope flag gets pulled to the other side. And I'm not convinced that everybody has let go of the rope yet.
Yeah.
But to your point, G, and I mentioned this on Monday, and I just keep bringing it up because it has a lot of similarities to what I'm seeing now. I used to watch the Buccaneers in 96, 97, 98, 99. They had great defenses, and they were scoring 12 points a game. And
I remember that.
It is a battle of attrition, and you could see Warren Sapp's energy just leaving his body at the end of a game. And Derek Brooks, these are guys that were winners, but they were constantly watching their other half underperform. And then they're asking themselves, what more can we do? And I literally feel like the Browns have played a couple games defensively where they should have won, and they're looking over at their buddies in the offensive meeting rooms and going, guys, just pull a little bit on the rope.
Give me something.
And we can win this thing. And you start with all the piss and vinegar in the world thinking we could do this if we get the breaks and the schedule breaks our way and we get a couple wins early, we can get on a roll and who knows what can happen. Well, that didn't take place. The 0-6, 1-5 that we thought was coming is here now. And the defense has had an opportunity to see what it looks like, to see how ineffective the offense is, to see your rookie quarterback drop back to pass 58 times while he hands off 17 times. They're looking at the same thing we're looking at. We're frustrated. You think they're not frustrated? So ultimately, it will come a day, and I don't know that it's here yet, but there will come a day where the defense says, okay, we give, you win, we'll suck collectively. And I hope we don't see that because that's the only thing keeping us in games right now.
Right.
Even though we've been blown out a couple of times. They are keeping us in games. So I hope that doesn't happen. A win Sunday can re-energize the defense and maybe it can get going in the other direction. But right now we've got to turn the ship, and we haven't been able to do it yet.
I've been hearing, this takes me to a bigger picture of something I've talked about for a long time. For the last 10 years, I have completely disagreed with this idea that defense wins championships because there are no elite defenses, first of all. The idea that the Browns are even being considered as an elite defense is laughable. The Browns have a very good defense. They had a very good defense 2 years ago also. There's no such thing as an elite defense anymore. The last one you could argue was elite was maybe the Legion of Boom, probably. But the real elite defenses happened.
They come along one every 10 years.
I don't. Well,
I mean, before that, it was the Buccaneers. The Ravens had some elite
Giants.
defenses. The Bears in the 80s.
Yeah, but
it's about once a decade.
I don't think we're going to see it again because unless the rules change, which they're not. The way the rules are now, you can't play that way. The way the 85 Bears played, the way the Ravens
No, drives now start on the 35-yard line.
Well, just beyond that, the way you can tackle, the way you can hit, you beat the crap out of guys.
But you've shortened the field with drives starting at the 35?
Right. But you can't, you just can't win that way. And first of all, this Browns, that Buccaneers defense you talked about, there are 4 Hall of Famers on that defense.
Yeah, one at each level.
All right?
Yeah, that's
unheard
This team doesn't have 4 Hall of Famers.
No, we've got one, maybe 2.
They've got one.
Denzel, if he does it
I don't
long
think
enough,
Denzel's a Hall of Famer right
it just
now.
depends.
I think he's a really good corner. I don't think he's a Hall of
Simeon
Famer.
Rice made the Hall of Fame, right?
No, Sims not in.
No, it was
Brooks, Lynch, Rondé Barber, and
Sapp.
Warren Sapp.
And Rice was very good.
Rice was tremendous.
All-Star
they don't
was
have-
very good.
Yeah.
The Browns have one Hall of Famer and one, borderline guy in Denzel. Now, we'll see what these young guys are going to do.
Right.
But even if they do become great players, well, they're not, they're rookies right now.
I think to your point,
Yeah.
I think Myles Garrett is great enough to overcome the fact that he played on losing teams. Denzel Ward is not. If
No.
Denzel Ward was a corner on the Steelers or
maybe.
on the Chiefs, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Possibly,
But
yeah. Maybe he would add more
He
picks.
will suffer at the end.
Yeah, for being on a bad team.
Because his teams
You've gotta
are always
be
bad.
To be a Hall of Famer on a consistently bad team, you've got to be well above the line.
You got to be Myles Garrett or Joe Thomas.
Yeah, right.
And he's
so, and that's the thing. So I didn't think the Browns were an elite defense 2 years ago. I think they got overrated 2 years ago. Some of the numbers looked fine, but you didn't look into the reality of who they played. This Browns defense is really good. I think it's better than the defense the Browns had 2 years ago. It's really good. But obviously, you can't win. I don't care how good your defense is now. I don't care how good it is. You cannot win with an inept offense. It's impossible. It's impossible in this day and age of football to win. You can win with a mediocre offense. You can at least get to the playoffs. We've seen that from the Steelers for a bunch of years. You cannot win with an inept offense in the NFL in this day and age. It is impossible, and it doesn't matter how good your defense is. You cannot win that way.
And Bull,
Yeah.
other things you cannot do and win.
Yeah.
The fact that we've gone about 10 minutes in this conversation, and none of you guys have brought this up, means I know you haven't seen this clip, but Jake Burns from the Browns Film Breakdown, he noticed something that happened on Sunday that I think we have to address. It's a 40-second clip from Jake. Take a listen.
5, right, here we go. Let me double check something. Okay, unless I'm an idiot, which I am known to be an idiot, the Browns are playing with 10 guys on the field here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Am I missing somebody?
That's funny.
You can't overcome some stuff like that, especially with an offense that can't score double-digit points.
Those are. See, I've had a pleasure of playing on a one-win football team. Those things happen because you're just not dialed in, and those things happen because the cumulative effect of losing shortens your tolerance and your attention span and what you're looking at. You can say, people always say, look, they're getting paid all that money. Let me just tell you guys about money. Once you start making that sort of money, it becomes relative. It's like, oh, I get a paycheck. It's like saying, because I get a raise at work, it means that I didn't make a mistake at work, or I don't check out because my boss said something.
The money doesn't make you work harder.
It doesn't make that. It doesn't do that for you. So the reality of the situation is, when you're taking the L's, things like that slip under the cracks because, hey man, we 1-5.
There were so many warts. We missed one big one.
Yeah.
If this was a 2-point game, and for the most part we were buttoned up, this would have been a highlight for all of us Monday morning.
Sure, yeah.
All of them.
We all would have caught it. Everybody would have seen it. But the thing is, it's like fish in a barrel when you're looking for problems with the Browns. They're everywhere, and that one slipped through our cracks.
It's just that's why I do say it is just unbelievably difficult to. At some point, even with us, we're not even yelling.
Yeah.
How many screaming matches?
Right.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be the arguing panel. This is me, Bull,
What if
and
that
Jay.
happened in Pittsburgh in a game they lost by a field goal?
Yeah.
That was set up by a big play like that.
Yeah.
Right.
But it shows that even we have become, I don't want to say complacent, but we are apathetic. The worst thing that can happen to a fan base, if you're a team, is your fans don't care.
Well,
and we care. I mean, Monday, didn't we do a record number of live views?
Record number of
views.
Record.
In a 1-5 season after getting beat by a rival for the 22nd time in their building. And we set a record. So I think what that tells me is our audience loves to commiserate in misery. That's kind of what we do. We bond together, and people wanted to watch everybody complain. But there's so much to complain about.
Right.
That something that would be a major issue for any other football team falls through the cracks.
And what's interesting is it's so we're only the Browns have played 6 games?
Yep.
Right? So we're 40%, as you said, into the season. Okay. Not even halfway. One of the great things about football coming back, yes, football is coming back. We love talking football. It's our biggest topic. But it's also the excitement of being able to talk about games after they happen, right?
Yeah.
And we are already to the point where when I don't know, you guys with your post game, when I did my post game, I spent this week very little time talking about the actual game.
In-game stuff.
It was all about the big
Macro.
picture. And that's what we've reached now. When the team is so bad that it's like, we're not even breaking down what happened in the game.
No, it's not even.
It's beyond that.
It's
how did we get here?
Yeah.
How did we get out?
Hey, last year, it was so crazy because last year we got to a point where we do the post game, and it was like it was a foregone conclusion, and we up out of here. We need to get this done, get it out of here, because now if I think back at it, we've been doing the post game for all these years. We've won 4 games after 4 and 20 20-something McNuggets.
The Browns have
since the
lost
playoffs?
20.
It's 4 and 20 in the last 24, right?
I think it's 4 and 21, last 25.
So we've won
You
4.
count the playoff game, yeah. 4 and 21.
count
Well,
the
no, it's
playoff game.
4 and 23, isn't it?
Let's see. They're
Because we were 3-14, and now we're 1-5.
1-19. So they're what?
What were we
to
end the 23 season?
They lost a playoff
good.
game, lost last regular season game. Although to be fair, they were sitting their regulars, but it still counts. So they have lost 21 of their last 25 games, including the playoffs.
Yeah. It's tough, guys. We got Ross Tucker in the queue we're going to bring in here in 1 second. After a reminder that the holidays are right around the corner, guys, and nothing says celebration like the perfect sweet treat.
40.
Let's be real. Finding that go-to gift or special indulgence for yourself can be overwhelming. Between the generic options and the mass-produced candy that just doesn't hit the same, it's easy to settle for less when all you want is something truly special. That's where Mally's Chocolate comes in. Chocolate's Cleveland's favorite chocolatier since 1935. And this year, they're celebrating 90 years of making Northeast Ohio's sweetest moments even sweeter. Their selection is incredible. We tried the chocolate-covered pretzels earlier. They were delicious. They have the best Buckeyes in the state. Billy Bob's, Malio's, you name it, they have it. You can even shop online and have it delivered right to your door. Celebrate 90 years of Cleveland's sweetest tradition with Mally's Chocolates. Visit one of their 18 Northeast Ohio locations or shop online at Mally's.com. That's MALLEYS.com. Taste the tradition. Taste Mally's. And with that, we are thrilled to welcome back Ross Tucker to the show. Ross, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. What's up, fellas?
Guys, what's up is the Browns lose every week here, Ross. I'm sure you just heard us say it. They've lost 21 of their last 25 going back to Week 17 of the 2023 season. And we, as a fan base, fans are just so exasperated. You know, it's like you can't even get with all these other teams. The fans are breaking down the game and analyzing the game and looking at it. We're just like, oh, they suck. The coach sucks. The GM sucks. The owner sucks. You can't even get into the game that much and the analysis of the game because it's just all bad. I mean, as a player, how do you deal with that when there's so much losing?
Oh, well, there's two different answers here.
Yeah.
As a player, man, I always thought you got to even lock in more on your own individual performance because when things aren't going well, there's going to be changes. And you don't know what those changes are. Could be GM, could be head coach, could be both, could be coordinators, could just be players. And I always looked at it like I needed to play well enough that either I would be able to stay after those changes were made, or if I was part of the changes, that I would get picked up elsewhere. I think it was my first 3 years in the league, my head coach got fired at the end of the season. 2001, Schottenheimer in Washington, 2002, Campo in Dallas, 2003, Greg Williams in Buffalo. I was like the original coach killer. And every time I wasn't good enough to stay, you know, they would get rid of me because I was, you know, a second-tier guy. But thankfully, I had done enough that I would get picked up somewhere else. I do have some good news for you guys, though.
Okay, please.
I believe that the Cleveland Browns are only going to lose one game over the next month. One game.
Yeah, the schedule's favorable.
Well, they have a bye.
I think they're going to beat the Dolphins on Sunday.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to beat the Patriots. Then they have the bye. Then I think they're better than the Jets. I think there's a very realistic possibility over the course of the rest of this month, the Browns only lose one game. And that would be pretty impressive to get a couple wins. I mean, we said before the year, if everything went well, they would win 7 games maybe. Well, you can't say everything's going well, and there's still a realistic possibility that, you know, a month from now they have 3 wins and they're headed towards whatever that would be, 4 or 5 or 6.
Would you change your mind if this week was a unfortunate loss to a 1-5 team in the Dolphins? Would you change your outlook on this rest of this month if that happened?
Probably. You know what's interesting, though, looking at those standings you guys just showed? The Baltimore Ravens are 1-5.
Yeah,
the Ravens.
It's a misprint. Yeah.
And they're 1-5.
The Dolphins are 1-5. I mean, let's be honest, fellas. I know it's a Cleveland show, but those are teams that had much higher expectations coming into this year than did the Browns. I was disappointed in some of the things that happened to the Browns on Sunday. I still saw some encouraging signs from some of the rookies, and I thought Gabriel did some positive things again. Obviously, it's a shame they weren't able to close out the games against the Bengals and the Vikings, because those are the other two games that they could have, would have, should have won, right? At this point, they could easily be 3-3. You don't expect them to win every one of those games. So, maybe 2-4. They're 1-5. They did win the Green Bay one. You would think with who they put out there, a quarterback, that they probably don't win 50% of those games that could go either way. But there's a very realistic chance that all three games over the next month or so come down to the end. And I think it's time for them to win another one or two. And I think that they got a really good chance to do so.
Ross, you mentioned you saw some good things from Dylan Gabriel in this past weekend's game against the Steelers. We've talked about it at length over the last couple of days. We thought he made a couple good throws, but for the most part, didn't come away overly impressed. What did you see that from the tape review that made you think he maybe played better than we saw when we watched it?
Well, so keep this in mind, right? I did a couple – obviously I did the Browns-Ravens game for CBS, but I've also done a couple of Titans games. So I've seen what rookies look like. I've seen J.J. McCarthy this year, even though it's his second year. And I guess I just like the fact that Gabriel looks like he's in command, looks like he knows what's going on. People are like, he was in college for 6 years, he's 24, whatever. Cam Ward was in college forever. I mean, Cam Ward played 2 years at Incarnate Word, 2 years at Washington State, a year at Miami. I mean, all these guys are in college for a long time, and they make way worse mistakes than Gabriel does. Wow. Gabriel, I feel like, is at least giving the Browns a chance to win these games, and I don't look at him as the reason why they're losing. It would certainly help if guys could catch the ball, like Jerry Jeudy when he throws it to him. That would help. It would help, quite frankly, if the defense hadn't given up over 20 points the last 2 weeks. The reality is, with where the Browns are right now, they need to win games like 19-16, 20-17. Their defense can't give up over 20 points, and certainly not to Carson Wentz and a total backup Vikings offensive line, or even to Aaron Rodgers and what the Steelers are putting out there right now. I mean, they need better from the defense, and they need the veteran guys to help them out. They needed to run the ball better than they did against Pittsburgh. They needed to block a heck of – I'm watching – and some of that is coaching. Like, I'm watching – why is KT Leviston ever one-on-one with TJ Watt? Yeah, or anybody, for that matter. Or anybody. Like, why is that ever a thing? The Steelers have good pass rushers, but disappointed in some of those things from the Browns. The reality is they need their defense and the O-line to play better, and they need the receivers to catch the ball when Gabriel throws it to them. I don't know if it should make you guys feel better or worse that Gabriel isn't the reason why they're losing.
Yeah, he's certainly not. I mean, he's not putting them on his back either, we wouldn't expect that from a rookie. But I get what you're saying. In terms of the offensive line, Ross, Sean King, former Buccaneers quarterback, of course, he comes on our show quite a bit, and Sean, his argument about offensive line is that people make too big a deal, blame the offensive line too much, because he said offensive lines around the league are worse than they've ever been. They're giving up a lot of pressures, and that quarterback's got to, not on every play, but got to be able to overcome that, and that too many people put the blame on the offensive line. Do you agree or disagree with him?
For sure. That's just always been the case. I mean, when I was a player, any sack, offensive line, I think it's easier to do that too, because it's like you don't have to actually say a human being's name. You can just blame a group. It's the offensive line. I've always said sacks are in large part a quarterback stat. I think hurries, quarterback hits, are more an offensive line stat. But as you guys know, running backs, tight ends are part of it. The receivers running the right route, breaking off their route is part of it. That's actually one of the things I like about Gabriel is he's got a quick release. He does get the ball out of his hands pretty quickly. He does give them some mobility. But, it's a shame with what they got going out there at tackle. The reality is a lot of teams are struggling at offensive tackle. In particular, when one of those guys goes down. What would you guys have said if you said to me before the year, Ross, what do you think the Browns' record will be their tackles will be Cam Robinson and KT Leviston. Think about
I haven't
that.
even heard of KT
Think
Leviston.
about that for a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah.
I would have been like, not good. And they got a rookie quarterback and 2 rookie running backs and a rookie tight end and a rookie receiver, and the defense has a bunch of rookies. I mean, they're not. This is not. If there was any chance for the Browns to have any modicum of success or a modicum of success this year, they needed Conklin and DeJuan Jones to be healthy and playing pretty well. They need to be able to lean on the offensive line as the best group on the team. They're not.
I'm trying. Maybe you can make this make sense. And you brought up part of it. Like, why are you not giving an offensive lineman who is clearly overmatched any help? I'll couple that with Baker Mayfield's last game here. We went to Pittsburgh. Was he sacked 9 times?
Yeah, something crazy like that.
It was the same thing. They had no chipping tight end on the side of a rookie right tackle. I believe it was his right tackle.
It was
James Hudson.
James
Yeah,
Hudson.
James Hudson. He got beat like a rag doll. And then in a similar game at Pittsburgh against a defensive line that likes to get after it, they dropped Dylan Gabriel back to throw 58 times. And this was, in most cases, you watch the game, it wasn't out of reach until 5 minutes to go. And they dropped him back to throw 58 times. He handed off 17, which is the same number of times that he got knocked to the ground. He took 17 hits on Sunday. I can't make that make sense when we've got this offensive guru in Kevin Stefanski that's ultimately responsible for this. Make it make sense to me.
Well, they weren't running it very effectively, but I do think they should have stuck with it more, especially after the success they had against Minnesota. But the bigger issue I would have, Jay, is with protecting the offensive tackles. That should be priority one. And Stefanski, I used to think, or I think, is pretty good about that. I mean, I have this philosophy, and I think maybe I'm biased, but I think more teams should try it. When's the last time a team had an offensive line playing well and their offense wasn't playing well?
That's a great.
That's not a thing.
Yeah,
it's not a
right.
thing. So, we talk so much about these quarterback-friendly offenses. How about offensive line-friendly offenses? And he runs the boots and he runs the play action. But if you start with the offensive line and put them in position to be able to have a good game, I promise you the offense will move the ball and have a decent day. I'm not saying it's going to be 45 points, but I promise you they'll have a decent day if you're putting the offensive line, those guys in a position to succeed.
Ross, Bill Callahan was here. We watched Bill Callahan work wonders with an offensive line that was injured. He same thing, a lot of different combinations. I had said when he went to Tennessee to coach with his son Brian, we are underestimating how much that's going to affect this football team.
Well, it didn't help Tennessee, to be fair.
He's a guru. No, it didn't. I mean, and that there might be other problems, but we knew what he was here. Is there enough money that we can throw at Bill Callahan? He's free. Like, what kind of a difference can a Bill Callahan guy make on an offensive line that is below average at best? I'm being kind.
Yeah, I think that is probably hard during the season.
Yeah.
The value of him would be April, May, June, training camp.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Unless it's a situation where Stefanski just trusts him that much and would let him handle the run game and/or give him a lot of say in terms of pass protection.
Right.
I think that's pretty difficult. And I told you I did a couple Titans games this year for CBS. They weren't playing well on the offensive line down there.
No, they haven't.
So, I think everybody was surprised that he wasn't able to get that group to play better than they did.
Can you break down really quickly? It's a lot that being made that Bill Callahan was the run game coordinator. What is those job responsibilities in terms of run game coordinator? Is he responsible for the blocking schemes and the concepts, or how does that separate from maybe a passing game coordinator or in those respects?
Yeah, for sure. So, he's not calling the plays, but he's in charge for putting the run plan together. So let's say they have 10 different runs, right? Well, he's in charge for saying, let's major in these 4 runs this week. I want to run these 2 just to the left side. These other 2 I want to run both ways. I like the idea. I think we got our best matchup might be our tight end on their defensive end. So let's go 12 personnel. Let's have 2 tight ends. It's his job to come up with the plan for the run game for that week. And likewise, the passing game coordinator is looking at their coverages, looking at their DBs, and coming up with the plan of attack for the passing attack. And then they kind of what they need to do is have it all marry each other as much as possible so that a lot of those looks look the same. But that's what they're in charge of. He's in charge of the run game plan, which frankly was very good against Minnesota. They were very effective. That's a game you have to win. That's the shame of it is the Bengals, the Packers game could have gone either way. And so give the Browns credit for winning that one. But the Bengals and the Vikings games, those are games you have to win. I mean, they were the better team, I thought, in both those games. There's other times where it's a close game where you're not necessarily the better team, and quite frankly, they probably weren't against Green Bay, so maybe it evens out a little bit. But these other games against Cincinnati and Minnesota, they needed to win one of those.
Ross, last thing. Obviously, he's only played a couple of games, so it's unfair to make a snap judgment, but you know these players well. You have a good feel for it, so I'm curious your thoughts. Did the Browns make a huge mistake in not drafting Jackson Dart?
No, I'm not ready to go there yet.
Okay.
He's very, very entertaining.
Yeah.
He's super fun to watch. I don't think there's a prayer in hell that he lasts the whole season. I mean, he's an absolute idiot, and I mean that as a compliment. But, the way he played – did you guys see Thursday night? I do a lot of Eagles stuff. He's near the first down line, and he launches himself like a missile with his head down at the Eagles' first-round pick linebacker, Jahad Campbell. I would say there's a less than 5% chance that Jackson Dart makes it through the whole season, but it's going to be fun to watch while he lasts, and he certainly has given them a shot in the arm. I think it's too early to say that. However, when you compare and contrast the spark that Dart has given the Giants with a lot of what we thought were the top quarterbacks in the draft, the Arch Manning, the Nussmeier, the Aller, not playing that well, that's where it becomes a really interesting conversation. Because the thought was a bunch of these guys were going to be higher than Dart. Now you see what Dart's actually doing in the NFL, which is pretty darn good compared to a lot of these college guys dropping off, not playing that well. Then, that's a much longer conversation. You guys have a lot more time than I do, but that's where it becomes a little more interesting in terms of your question, Bull.
All right, appreciate it, Ross.
Great answer.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Ross, great stuff.
See you, fellas.
What's your game this weekend?
I'm actually no TV, so I am flying out later tonight to Cincinnati. I've got the Steelers at the Bengals on the radio tomorrow night. So if you're driving around
That should be fun.
in Cleveland, I'm sure I'm on there somewhere. So, okay, people in Cleveland, here's what I need to know. Who are they rooting for?
Neither.
Or rooting against?
Tie.
Oh, they definitely they root
I'm
for
rooting
the
for the Bengals. I'm rooting for the Bengals because obviously it helps the Browns in the standings.
Yeah.
If the not that we have any chance in the standings, but and I think I do. My dislike for the Steelers supersedes my dislike for the Bengals.
Also, if you care about draft pick, it's better for the Bengals to win than
Yes,
the
it
Steelers.
is. Get them out of the one loss club or one win club.
Yeah.
And I know we kissed you off already, but quickly. From a guy who never does that, Mike Tomlin's calling out Andrew Berry by name. What do you make of that?
Bizarre. I'm surprised that Mike did that. Obviously, he felt really strongly about it. It looks to me like a guy that's only looking at things from his perspective. He's not happy.
Why'd you make it
He's
more
not happy. He has to go
difficult
against Flacco tomorrow night. He thought for sure that they'd be able to beat Browning. Now he saw how Flacco played in the second half against the Packers, and he could very easily lose tomorrow night. and he's mad at the Browns for doing it. Listen, Mike, the Browns aren't on your timeline. The Browns, Andrew Berry has to do what's best for the Cleveland Browns. What does Andrew Berry care if Joe Flacco, who they already benched, by the way, is the quarterback for the Bengals, and the Bengals win 1 or 2 more games as a result? In fact, if the Bengals beat the Steelers because of Flacco, Andrew Berry's probably happy about it.
Sure, absolutely.
That's right.
It's an interesting
Good
way
point.
of looking
Good
at
point.
it. Yeah.
Thanks,
Ross,
man.
thanks for the insight. Enjoy your game tomorrow night. We will be listening if we're driving around for sure.
Appreciate it.
All right, see you, fellas.
See you, Ross.
He's a great listener.
That is-
I was in my car a couple of weeks ago.
I catch him all the time.
And he, his play-by-play guy is it? We should have asked him. He does NBA games too, I think. He's really good.
Yeah.
But he said during one of the games, he's like, Ross, if your mom was watching right now, what do you think she would say? And Ross said, well, first of all, she would say, the guy that's doing the color analyst in this game is the best I've ever heard. He's tremendous. He's just got a really good, quick, easy
Tom
listen
McCarthy.
to him.
I'll tell you, I like Tom McCarthy. He does baseball.
Yeah, that's
also.
who it is, Tom McCarthy. He's very, very
Ross
good.
is an excellent analyst on games.
Up and coming,
He doesn't
one of
get
the
the
best.
big games because he doesn't have the big sexy name, I guess.
He will,
but
though.
He's
He will.
really good.
I put an arrow next to his name because every game I listen to, when he's on
In
the
the
call,
car,
he says things that makes me smarter. He's very, very good.
And he doesn't
at dissecting
ramble
it.
incoherent. Like some of these guys just ramble on.
Really
Like,
good.
he can make his
He and
points
Tom
distinctly.
are the most underrated team doing.
I
NFL
love Tom
games.
McCarthy. He's good.
Tom's
He does
great
Phillies
voice.
games and baseball.
Yeah,
He's
very
really good.
Yep.
All right, guys, we're going to move on to our next topic. It's brought to us by FanDuel. The NFL season is here. NBA is about to tip off, and they have a great offer for new customers right now. If you're a new customer to FanDuel, you can bet just $5, and if that first $5 bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use any way you want across the app. You can bet on everything you could ever dream of. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to download the FanDuel app today and get started. We have Spencer German joining us in 10 minutes, and we'll talk more Browns with Spencer. But we got to give the Cavs some love. They wrapped up their preseason action last night, and I have three
Excuse me, Mike. I mean, do we have to give them love? Why do we have to give them love? They gave us no love at the end of the season when they crapped the bed in the playoffs, leaving us all heartbroken and angry. So why do we have to give them love?
Do you want to talk about the Browns for another 40 minutes?
No, I want to talk about the Cavs, but I don't want to necessarily just profess my love for them. Can I just give them neutral observance?
That is fine, because one of my observations is not a good one.
Okay.
So we actually have some good and the bad. But these are my three biggest takeaways. We'll go one by one down the list here. You guys feel free to chime in on what you think about these takeaways. But they went 1-3 in the preseason. I don't know if you saw yesterday, but the team, in a joking manner, dumped Gatorade on Kenny Atkinson because it's the first preseason game he's won in 3 years. So the morale's high. But the number one takeaway I have from watching the Cavs over this 4-game preseason stretch is the aggressiveness on defense, which we did not see last year from this team. They are up in passing lanes. They are full-court pressing teams. They are up in other teams, you know what, making it more difficult for them to get into their offensive sets. A lot of it is because Lonzo and Craig Porter Jr. are now leading the charge with Darius out. Sam played last night, but Jalen Tyson's been in that role. That's something he brings to the table. But as an overall team and from an overall defensive philosophy standpoint, the Cavs have been significantly more aggressive in trying to force turnovers than we saw at any point last season. And boy, you'll like this. They are way less, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not conceding as many switches open and up top as they had in the past.
Let me ask
which makes me very happy because I think that was one of their weaknesses last year.
I am happy about that, but here's my concern. How much has Donovan Mitchell played at the preseason? Has he played all?
Enough.
Yeah, he played 23 minutes yesterday.
Are they doing this with the key guys who are going to play the real minutes is what I'm asking, I guess.
So I was in person for their first home game.
Yeah.
And they did this with Jalen Tyson at the starting two for the first stretch. They didn't do it in the second stretch. Last night it was up and down. But over the course of the 4 games, it's at least a wrinkle that we didn't see at all last year.
Yeah.
That I do think we'll see a good chunk of this year.
Have you had a chance to speak to Kenny in a press conference during the preseason?
Yes.
Interviews up.
The first one, yeah.
After the first game?
Yes.
Like, did you ask him about this, or did you not really?
I didn't have enough of a sample size to know. I'll ask him next time.
I'd be curious, Mike, like, when you talk to him next, probably when's their home opener?
Next Sunday.
Next Sunday. if like this continues into like, is this just something they're doing for whatever reason in the preseason, or is this? Do you really think this is a point of emphasis that they're going to be noticeably different going in once the season starts? What do you think?
Kenny, when we had our one-on-one at Media Day,
Yeah.
Kenny mentioned he wanted to play faster on both ends of the court. And part of the way of playing faster defensively is get up in other teams' ish, make them have to operate in a much quicker fashion than they want to, and get out in transition. So I tend to think this is something that's not just a preseason facade, and it's something they're actually going to implement. But I'll get an answer for you by the end of the show. I'll text some people and get an observation from inside the Cavs.
McNuggets, one thing I go back, and I'll see what you think about this. I was alarmed when Kenny, at the end of the year, talked about the physical nature and how his guys wore down a little bit, how his guys were tired, how his guys I specifically the game against Indiana, where at the end of the game, he's like, "Oh, our guys played 40 minutes and they were spent," and I'm looking around like, what you mean? This is the NBA. This the playoffs. You going? All the best players going to play.
That's when the
40.
load management issue came up. Like,
Right.
well, maybe it's not so good to go so soft on them in the regular season.
What has he said? What has he said about that? And how was it different in the training camp in terms of the conditioning levels?
I'll use Craig Porter Jr. for an example, but they challenged their guys to come back in the best shape possible. Craig Porter Jr., who was in good shape, obviously an NBA athlete, went from 9.6% body fat down to 5.9% body fat this summer. He's in incredible shape, and he's just one of the examples that Kenny's pointed out on some of the guys transforming their bodies.
How has his weight changed?
He only mentioned the body fat percentage, but he
crazy.
said
You
he
don't
tested the highest he had of all the guys' rankings. They wear these little, they look like bras. I don't know if you ever seen.
I know what they are.
They have the heart rate chip.
They measure everything.
It measures literally everything
Yeah.
from heart rate to exertion. They could tell in a drill if you're actually giving 100% or if it's lip service. So they have fully implemented that into their training regimen. It's something Kenny brought that
Bra
JB
technology.
was kind of
What up,
testing
bra?
with it. It does look like it does.
I've seen them.
look like
Yeah,
a
it
bra.
does.
I've seen them in college, actually, mostly.
It looks like a muscle shirt that got dramatically shrank in size when it went through the washing
It looks
machine.
like a bra.
That's why a lot of guys have trouble taking them off.
Okay. That is very difficult.
All right. The second observation I had, and this one is something we're going to have to monitor pretty closely for the early part of the season. But without Darius and without Max Strus, you lose two really, really good three-point shooters that create a lot of space and gravity when they're out on the court. And without those two, it's not a lack of three-point shooting from the Cavs, but you can tell the spacing just isn't exactly where Kenny wants it to be in an offense that is predicated on attacking mismatches, getting into the paint, and kicking out to the corner. You replace those guys with a Craig Porter Jr., who, good player, he's not the three-point shooter Darius is. Sam Merrill can shoot, but he doesn't have the same off-ball motion that Max Strus, I don't know what Bull's waving as, at that little Nat Bull.
Driving me crazy.
I mean, he's just living.
This Nat has been living rent-free in the studio.
It has
for
been
weeks.
like he is so crafty. Like he's moving through our
He's
hands.
the Allen Iverson of Nats, man.
He's like just a regular day, moving, going to
Driving
work.
these guys nuts. By the way, I can't 100% put my finger on it, but I don't want to watch Max Strus play at all this year. I don't want to watch Sam Merrill play this year, and I don't want to watch Jared Allen. I don't like them as players.
Wow.
I don't like any of them.
That's outrageous.
Tell us how
They're not fun players to watch. They're not fun to watch, which is weird because Jared Allen's like an old school player. I should like him. The other two are unbearable to watch. And I just hate the fact that I'm the old man on the lawn right now, but I hate the fact that the NBA is like, we're obsessed with three-pointers. Three-pointers are boring. There's nothing interesting about three-pointers. It's so... Watching just guys chuck three-pointers is like watching...
Well, that's what the league is.
I mean, it just sucks.
It does suck. I hate that too.
Well, then, Bull, this last observation is one you're going to like. I'm going to give you the observation, then I'm going to play a little montage from last night's game. But Lonzo Ball is going to make an immediate impact.
He's the type of player I like.
If
he can stay healthy.
If you didn't see
like
what
guys
Lonzo
like
did
him.
last night, I'm going to take this full. Steve, you ready to take tag board full? Lonzo had 9 points, and 9 assists in 23 minutes yesterday.
Oh, that's
some of these
encouraging.
passes, the way he moves the ball, the way he sees things before they even develop, are things that, Bull, if you're an old school basketball fan,
I
you're
love
gonna
it.
love. And he's going to help unlock. And he's not going to play a ton of minutes. They're going to ease him into the season. They need him for the playoffs. But he's going to add an element to this team that they simply didn't
He's
have.
like
So,
Jason Kidd with a
if you want to
douchey
take
dad.
tag word full, Bull, give us some commentary on what you see from Lonzo Ball here on both ends of the court.
Give me that. Woo, woo,
I love
woo.
that. I love that he. I like that's old school ball movement,
Yeah, that's
man.
fast
That was a
break,
little Magic
finding the
Johnson
guy.
right there.
Wow,
That's a
that
little
was-
carried away.
There you go.
I got a little
All right.
carried away.
All right.
Magic Johnson-ish.
How
Got
about
him.
White Lightning?
Got him. Give me
That-
that.
I mean, that is.
Physical defense
I
that
love
we've
the
been
physical.
lacking
Love
at
it.
6'6".
Love it. Let me see. Let me see a good pass here. That's not exciting. All right.
He's gonna hit. He's got a beautiful pass to Jared Allen coming
But
up
the
in a
big issue
second.
is
There's another guy I don't want to see anymore. Dean Wade. That guy's a stiff. Let
Bull,
me tell
watch
you
this,
something.
Bull, watch this pass. Bull,
let
watch
me
this
see.
pass.
Vanilla Wolf.
Vanilla Wolf,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, that's a great pass. That's an old school pass. I love it.
Look.
I like that.
Hey,
That's some Jason Williams to him.
Can we get Dean Wade off this roster? He looks like a friggin' Amish guy. I mean, come
Stop
on.
it.
The Vanilla Wolf.
Vanilla
If
Wolf,
Dean
man.
Wade was
We need
black, he'd be
t-shirts.
playing in the CBA. You know that. I know that. Everybody else knows that. He's only in the NBA because he's white. We got to have a quota. We got to have a few guys in there.
This is all last night, by the way. This is all from Lonzo last
I
night,
like
by the way.
Lonzo.
Give me that again. He had
Lonzo's
2
going to be
blocks.
my guy.
By the way, listen. I need you to work on this. Where's EP Steve?
Wow.
McNuggets. We need LeVar Ball on the show.
I'll fight with him.
No,
Yeah.
leave LeVar alone. We need LeVar
don't
Ball
like LeVar.
on the show. Now, listen, a couple of years ago, that would have been a hot ticket item.
Gee, he might not have been in demand over the last couple of years, but there's still never a camera he said no
Hey,
to.
listen,
We could get him on.
We'll bring him in the studio. He'll keep telling me about LaMelo, LiAngelo, his rap career. He could park a Bentley outside, a Ferrari. He would do a photo shoot. Listen, get LeVar Ball on the radio. I need him.
I'd rather have a player. Can we get Lonzo?
We don't
I
get
have
players.
put in a request for Lonzo. So
I mean, can the
I
Cavs
think
give us
there's
a
chance.
player? We're the only intelligent conversation, except for me, about the Cavs in the entire town. Nobody else knows anything about basketball in this entire city, and the Cavs love Mike. Okay, let's go. Can we get a
We're
Cavs
in the
player?
works. We're
for-
in the
for
works, Bull.
F's
But
sake.
does their love for Mike, how is it balanced out by their thoughts of Jason?
Oh, man.
Stop being such wimps.
Does it
Stop
It's
being
not,
such
it's not
wimps.
Jason they have an issue
It's the Duke and D-jerk. You know I'm
it's time for a read. We
You
got
know
to
I'm
guess,
gonna get on.
guys. The NFL season is back, and there's nothing better than being in the stadium surrounded by fans,
Would've been appropriate.
cheering on your favorite team. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be frustrating between the login screens, the prices jumping at checkout. It's frustrating, but that's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee, meaning you always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best prices. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, that's promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, and go. Download Game Time today.
Spencer German just told me he hates Dean Wade also.
You did not. Spencer, welcome.
He
We
did.
apologize
He
in
did.
advance
last night.
for the gnat that might buzz your tower during your appearance
Yeah.
here.
So good.
We've
Well,
been
you know
trying
why
to kill him
Dean
for a
Wade-
month.
Yeah. He was trying to
I've
kill
watched
this
him
guy.
grow from a baby gnat to what looks like a small fly now.
Yeah.
So we apologize in
Shout out
advance.
to
if-
By the way, like I'm not surprised Dean Wade played well because the smaller the moment, the better he plays, right?
You know what? This-
Like in the playoffs,
God.
he's the worst NBA player. He's the Austin Hedges of the playoffs. Regular season, he's serviceable. Preseason, he's a superstar because there's no
why we
pressure.
can't have
He'll
that.
always
Man.
have that Celtics game from a couple
That's
years
exactly
ago.
right. That's what he's living
where,
on.
Where the Kelsey brothers were in town and he like
Yeah,
went
right.
bonkers. And they
Yeah.
came
That's
back
what he's
and
living
won.
on.
10
Yeah.
threes.
That's true.
Well, at least we got Dylan Gabriel. Thoughts?
You're never going to get him, Jay.
Oh,
he's
no,
too-
I will get him.
He is savvy. He's
Yes.
cold.
I'll get him.
Spencer, what are your thoughts on Dylan Gabriel so far?
Yeah, listen, I think there's obviously room for improvement, right? I think that's pretty obvious. I think anybody that was expecting him to just come in and be great immediately, I think was misguided. He's a third-round pick. He's a rookie. There was going to be some growing pains. I think Sunday was a hard game to evaluate him on. And it's not to say there's not things that he could have done better. As I've gone back and watched, like there were certainly some moments he missed guys. I think he misses David Njoku quite a bit already in these first 2 games. There's moments
can't
where
take that
he
sack.
kind of comes open. Yeah, he can't take that
in
exactly.
the red zone.
Exactly. Like there's certain things that you can tell are rookie growing pains. But Sunday was just hard because it felt like every time he dropped back to pass, he was under duress. And that's an offensive line issue. He was hit 16 times. I think as a quarterback, obviously, especially a young quarterback, that speeds up your clock, right? Where you sometimes think there's pressure there, that's not. So I think there's a lot going wrong right now. And listen, hopefully this week gives him an opportunity to be a little bit more comfortable back there and play better.
Yeah.
I don't know that I think he's going to be the future starting franchise quarterback for this team at this point. But, I think it's hard to put a lot of what's gone wrong these last 2 weeks totally on him.
I think it's very fair. You got to judge him on the scale. He was a 3rd-round pick.
Yeah.
They had 17 rushing plays. He got hit 16 times.
Yeah.
That's a losing formula no matter what. Did you notice the play in which the Browns defense had only 10 guys on the field?
In real time, no.
I didn't either.
And then I was going back there and watching, I kind of caught that. And, it's funny. I think there was an interesting conversation we had about that because it's like 10 guys on the field I think is inexcusable. Like if you get 12 and you get the penalty, okay. Like
it's
that
as
happens.
bad as the pre-snap penalties.
Yeah.
Like what are we doing?
And you got to know in that moment like who's supposed to be out there. I think if I went back and looked, I think it was Tyson Campbell that was missing. I tried to sort of identify who was actually out there, and Tyson was the one who I think was missing on the play.
Yeah, there's one safety back there, right?
And I think the other safety is actually over guarding the other receiver.
Yes,
right now.
that's what I thought too.
So I think, or actually, I guess the other safety is number 5 right there. But either way, because that's
if it is the new guy, I mean, does that kind of explain
to a degree?
Maybe he didn't know what package he didn't know.
But that's something right where like the coach has got to catch it.
Yeah,
right?
you got to say it.
And for as much as we hold Jim Schwartz in so much esteem, like that's a thing you got to catch in real time. Is that we only have 10 guys out there.
And
the play didn't go. I mean, the play was a pretty good game for Pittsburgh, but like it didn't cost you a touchdown. So okay, but still, like that's inexcusable. I agree.
And Spencer, there's 2 things that I can find fault with. One, that you put 10 guys out there in the huddle and on the field. Someone's got to catch it. Yeah. Someone's got to say, whoa, time out. Yeah. You don't know what's going to happen on that play. They end up gashing us on that play, but.
Yeah,
I mean, just those little things. Bull said Bull was funny. He goes, "We missed it because there were too many other fires."
Yeah.
We're too. Yeah. There's so much to be critical of with this team that we're missing things like if that happens to a Steelers team, and they give up a big play that leads to a field goal that costs them a loss, they want someone fired over there.
Mm-hmm. It's funny you bring up like the counting thing. Not to be the guy who like touts my illustrious high school career, but I remember like one of the things at practice was always like whoever was the middle linebacker, he'd get in front of us to make the call, and he would count everybody out and be like, all right, we got 11. So it's one of those fundamental things, right? And to your point, Jay, like that's the problem with this team right now it's the fundamental stuff. It's having 10 guys in the field for a play. It's the penalties, which I've gotten, I think, gradually there's been more and more of them as the season's gone on. Yeah. It's with blocking things,
that's
guys missing
lose,
guys
in the margins.
But wait a second.
And that's football. That's the NFL,
that's
right?
It.
We can't gloss over the fact that Spencer German, who looks like he weighs like 80 pounds, was playing middle linebacker.
Well, I wasn't playing middle linebacker. But I was a corner, and I was in the huddle.
That makes more sense. Like, man, your football team must have been no good if you're playing middle linebacker your size.
A lot of respect for them. Like, you stopping a dive? You stopping a run, Spence?
Damn.
That's crazy.
All right.
I'm going to tell you, this just hit me, and I don't know, I'll be in the moment. And I'm going to see how you feel about this. Even if Kevin Stefanski, right, somehow makes this miraculous turnaround, if we get into a playoff game or we're playing in the playoffs, we all agree that Kevin Stefanski will cost you in a game. Do you actually think that he is somehow like going to turn it around to a point where if the Browns are good in meaning football games, like games against other top coaches, that he can actually eliminate everything that's wrong with him now? I think we've already seen the peak.
I don't know that I agree that if the talent was better, that he would cost you. I've always felt like, I've said this a million times, there's a few excellent coaches, a few terrible coaches, and everyone else is in the middle. I think he's kind of more in that middle. So I don't know that he necessarily cost you, but you feel that way. Well, how do you feel?
I agree with you, Bull, in that I don't know if we've seen enough moments where it's like a tight game down the stretch, how does he handle that to know for sure that he would just completely botch it and you
Yeah.
lose the game. But that's also part of the problem, right? Is there's not enough of those moments to
That's
evaluate it on because the team hasn't been very good the last couple of years. You know, there was 2023, and to me, at this point, the one thing Kevin really can hang his hat on is that 2023 season where he kept that team together despite all the quarterback injuries, despite all the issues, makes the playoffs with the ghost of Joe Flacco, revives his career. I've been saying this already, but it's kind of funny how Flacco sort of helped save Stefanski's job to this point, and Stefanski kind of helped Flacco get 2 more years out of his career by bringing him in when he did.
Yeah.
So they kind of mutually helped each other. So, like, 2023 is a great season, and there were some moments, I think, in that season where you saw Stefanski's coaching prowess on display at times, but I still don't think there's been enough, to your point, G. Bush, of, like, knowing in a crunch time game that really means something to you, like in December or in the playoffs, whether or not he can handle those moments.
Right.
I think that Vikings game 2 weeks ago is maybe the closest we've gotten recently, where it's like, what do you do when you have the ball with 4 minutes to go and you have a chance to try to pick up a first down and run the clock or give it up to your defense?
Right.
We haven't seen it.
It's a tough one because I in that situation, I'm like, be aggressive. But from Kevin's standpoint, I also understand where you're like, I got this great defense, I'm going to count on them. So that was kind of like he kind of got screwed by his defense, unfortunately. But it's a tough. That one's a tough one, but I think that's maybe the closest example we've had to him in one of those situations, and he kind of was more conservative about it.
I don't have confidence that he wouldn't screw up, but I don't know that he's definitely would be the reason they'd lose.
Oh no, it's the different ways he screws up. So he has.
There's a lot of ways he screws up.
That's clock management. So then the next week, going into Pittsburgh, we just talked to Ross, and he inexplicably does not give his tackle, who's garbage, any help,
that's
and then
true.
throws the ball 58 times.
It makes no sense. And this is the second time we've seen that at Pittsburgh. I brought up the Baker thing a couple of years ago.
And Baker called it out.
Spencer,
no Quinshawn near the goal line in the red zone.
That's where I was going, Spencer. We had seen through the early parts of the season that we've got something with Quinshawn Judkins. We have something. Pittsburgh saw the same thing, and they said, okay, we're just gonna take that away. I can't remember a time when I've seen an offense throw their hands in the air any quicker in a game that wasn't out of control. It's not like they were down 21 points and they had to throw the ball all over the place. They didn't. But they clearly made the decision middle to late first quarter, this isn't working, so let's hit the panic button. And that led to 58 dropbacks compared to 17 handoffs. Yeah. And the other thing, to your point, and this is what I thought I would see more of when it came to Kevin Stefanski. You know, the tag was great with offense. I don't know if we're going to go as far as saying offensive guru, but great with offense. I watch Kansas City. I watch Detroit. Now, the problem with Detroit is some of their creative plays are illegal. You know, like Dan Campbell ran one Sunday, and I'm standing up going, oh, my God, that's genius. Well, it wasn't legal. He's got to stop first. He did that a couple of years ago on a tackle-eligible play. That it wasn't, whether or not he reported was an issue. But where's the creativity? To the point on the Vikings, they need a first down late in the game, and you win the game. It's so imperative that you've got something to pull out of your playbook. Something like Andy Reid. The other day they put trips to the left and a little drag route at the goal line.
Yeah, but Jay,
he's wide open.
If
Where are
those things don't work, if those things don't work, then you're the first one on here killing them.
Bull, his trick plays are end arounds with guys that shouldn't be running end arounds.
Because
that's not creative. That's stupid.
You're bringing up Kansas City and Detroit. To be fair about it, they got way more talent than the Browns.
Kansas City's not dripping with talent at wide receiver. What they did, it was a concept. They flooded the left with 3 wide receivers. There were more guys there than the
Browns don't even have 3 wide receivers. You said they're the worst wide receiving core in the league.
The Browns sort of ran it, but Isaiah Bond forgot to turn his head around. It was the same play. It was the same little drag at the goal line. Well, ours bounced off our receiver's helmet. In Kansas City's case, I just don't see any creativity at all.
Yeah, I think there's a balance between, like both your points, where it's like, on one hand, they don't have the talent to do some of these things, 100%. But I also think Kevin Stefanski's measured against these other great coaches, right? The Andy Reids, the Kyle Shanahans, the Sean McVays. And when you see those guys coach in those moments, sure, maybe they have more talent. But I think you're right, Jay. Like, you see more creativity on certain things. You see them being aggressive to pick up those first downs. How many times does Andy Reid go out there, like, 4th and 3 in a crucial situation, doesn't even hesitate, runs the play, and it's this brilliantly executed. I mean, he did it against the Browns in the playoffs in 2020 when Kevin Stefanski was the coach. So I think you're right where there's some of that lacking, and I don't know how to figure out the balance between how much of that is I don't trust my personnel. I don't trust the guys that I have. I don't trust my offensive line, and just him not necessarily knowing what to do in that moment. That's kind of the thing that's hard to decipher right now with this team. But I do think with the point on Quinshon too, in his Zoom press conference on Monday, it felt like he had regret over not using him in those situations. He was asked point blank by why didn't you use Quinshon there? What's the reasoning behind that? And he basically was like, no, he always says the line of we got to be better. But the fact that he said no and was like, we got to be better there. I got to, coach better there and draw the right thing. He kind of alluded to the idea that I think he looked back and watched the tape and felt like I probably needed to use him more. I probably didn't need to get away from the run as quickly as I did. It is a serious problem about him this season. Yes.
Well, I got to look, man. Let me check my wrist out, bro.
I'm just trying to show off the watch.
Let me see. Listen, that boy's shining. That boy's glittering. By the way, when is we getting the Shedeur Sanders? That's all we want to really know. We just waiting our time. When are he playing?
No, we want to know if you were on the conference call also for Jeff Shadell's cat incident. Were you on that?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you hear about this?
Yeah,
we'll play it later.
Oh, it's
yes.
That was Monday.
Browns
thing. That was
Monday.
Monday when you said my cat ran across the
and Kevin said, that's not very believable.
Yeah. What is your thought on Shedeur, by the way?
I'm a Shedeur guy.
Yeah.
I think he is talented. I understand why there's probably some things that scouts looked at and said he's not the first round talent that some projected him to be. But I did think he probably should have gone earlier in the draft than he did. In terms of when we see him, though, I think this is probably a longer leash for Dylan for a little while. I heard some people already throwing out they should just make the change this week. Why not? Or next week, give him another game. I just think that's probably too soon. We know they love Dylan Gabriel. They drafted him in the 3rd round. He was the guy they really had great conversations with and had their eye on during the pre-draft process. So to me, it feels like he's probably in that spot for a while, and then they'll get to a point where they kind of decide, all right, it's time to see what Shedeur Sanders can bring to the table. And I would assume they go about it in a way with Dylan where it's like, hey, man, this isn't like a benching. This is just our season's pretty much in the toilet. How can we're just trying to evaluate everybody here.
See what it is.
But I think they probably ride it with Dylan for a while. And anybody who's trying to make the change now, to a degree, it seems a little fast. And again,
then you got to go back to him if it doesn't work.
Well, and I just said, how he just had a game where I said the problems were well beyond just him in that game against Pittsburgh. So you're 2 games in and you're like,
he's the scapegoat?
Yeah, he's the scapegoat for this terrible
Ross
offense.
Tucker said the same thing.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. I think you got to give him some time to sort of learn and grow in the offense first. So
Earl, if you hear me, go ahead and clip that and make it. Spencer German says Shedeur Sanders is playing after the No, I'm playing. Go ahead.
I'd love to see it. I want to see Shedeur.
I don't see it because of an injury.
Yeah.
This guy's not going to last
No
the
chance.
season. He's undersized, and he took 16 or 17 hits on Sunday. If you keep doing this madness, he's going to get hurt, and we'll see him.
Spencer, before you go, who wins the next Coach Fired Bowl this weekend?
Oh man, I'm sitting here today on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm leaning the Browns, but man, is this game going to be such an indictment on the state of both these teams?
Oh, yeah.
That's the dysfunction bowl.
Yeah, I think it's at a point where if the Browns do lose on Sunday, I don't think they fire Kevin Stefanski the next day. I think that Jimmy has him once. If he's going to fire anybody, I think he's going to wait till after the season. But the Dolphins are at a point with their team where it's mass chaos.
Their quarterback's
if the Dolphins
questioning
lose,
leadership.
right? If the Dolphins lose, I think Mike McDaniel is absolutely getting fired.
We said the same thing.
So if the Browns somehow lose to that team, I think that really starts I know it's already getting kind of hot on Kevin, but I think that
Another
really
level.
because that's going to be a statement to this team is in turmoil. They're about to implode, and you lost to that team
At home.
Yeah, that's not going to be a good look.
Before we say goodbye to Spencer, because I know we got to do super chats, I want to defend his athletic reputation.
Okay.
Dude ran track at John Carroll.
Well, I'm not saying
only for a year.
I don't care.
Only for a year.
I don't care.
Listen, I'm not saying that he wasn't necessarily a bad athlete. I'm
Right.
saying he's not big enough to play middle linebacker. That's
Ran
it.
the 4x4.
I trust me. I'd much rather be his size
Yeah.
than mine.
Hey, man.
But
Who would've
That
known?
became my favorite for a
I'm
while.
the dad of a college track coach. I have to know these
there you
things.
go. For a while, I hated the 400, and then we got indoor track my junior year,
Yeah.
and they needed a 4th person on their
they threw you in
4x4, and I was like, all right,
It's
I
a
guess
fun
I'll do
event.
it. And then it became my favorite race.
It's
hard, but it's fun.
It's a great event to watch.
UCSS is
dude.
the home of white athletes. Let's go.
That's right. We got
That
more
is-
than
We
most
keep
shows.
them.
Yeah.
That is Spencer German. Check him out on the
Spencer, thanks,
Locked
Spencer.
On
Good
Browns
stuff.
Thanks,
podcast.
guys.
Speaking
And
of
there he
Locked
is.
On,
I
we
killed
have
him.
a
Gotcha.
Saw
ad
another one,
from
though.
a Locked On
about
Broncos
that?
host.
On your clipboard.
I'm Cody Rourke from Locked On Broncos, and this episode is brought to you by Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. This is Peloton's most advanced equipment yet, giving you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or you're cross-training with your favorite instructors like Alex Toussaint. It's training reimagined to make your workout more personal. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with features that help you plan, stay motivated, and hit peak performance. You can let yourself run, lift, flex, and go while Peloton handles all the rest. Plus, Peloton IQ provides real-time strength coaching, tracking your progress and suggesting weights that challenge you so you can get stronger. Plus, the new movement tracking camera, it counts your reps and corrects your form in real time, making sure every rep is safer and smarter. So, let yourself run, lift, flex, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com.
All right, thanks, Cody. Time for Super Chats, guys. First one comes from Darrell Young, who says, don't write off the Dolphins. Yeah, their defense stinks, but the Browns' offense is even worse. Miami can score. Let's hope the defense doesn't sell out.
That's fair.
Okay.
Jeff's Bookshelf says, what's your best advice for someone who wants to get into sports talk?
Get a YouTube channel immediately and a camera and a microphone and start talking.
The advice has really changed over the years. When I first started, everybody said, send out your tape to a bunch of small market radio stations, but they don't really exist anymore.
No, now it's easier just to do it on your own.
Giant corporations have eaten up all those small radio stations. It's a real shame because it was a great starting point for a lot of young broadcasters. But G's right, you gotta just put stuff out there on your own. It's hard to make there's so many people doing it, but that's really the best way.
It's reps, and more reps. Austin says, can you guys give a big shout-out to my boy Evan419? I'm becoming a first-time girl dad a couple days ago.
Oh, Evan419!
Congratulations,
I texted Evan.
You may still suck at fantasy football, but congratulations.
Yeah, he's taking it on the chin, isn't he?
I texted Evan. Evan's daughter was born on Monday afternoon. Wow. Noah Marie, beautiful daughter.
Hey,
I don't
where
want
is
to show
he
the picture.
from? Do you know?
Yeah, wherever you're from.
Sandusky, right?
Sandusky,
I mean, because 419 is the Sandusky area
Yeah.
code, so it could be Huron, it could be anywhere around
I'm
there.
99% sure it's Sandusky.
All right,
congratulations, Evan.
Thanks for the support and congratulations.
Evan's the
There's
best.
nothing like being a girl dad. It changed my life. It changed my perspective on life. It changes the way you look at everything. I promise you.
Somebody asked me that same question. Hey, man, where you from? I said, wherever you from.
Mr. 216. Mr. 216 says, losing doesn't help any culture. No matter if you still get the number one pick for the next decade, it's still losing.
Facts.
Yep.
Triz says, Bull on Monday, you said, quote, stop with the hospital ball talk. But since then, I've seen 4 NFL players, including Cody Kessler, say Dylan was throwing hospital balls and missing reads. I'm calling Bull on Bull.
Okay, here's what I'm saying.
You didn't like the term, I think, right?
My beef with it is I never heard anybody use this term until recently, and now you got slappies like Mike using it. I'm okay with no offense, Mike, but I'm offending you.
No offense, but I'm calling you a slappy.
I'm calling you a slappy. You did not play football. Only ex-football players should use that term.
And by the way, we can remix it and call it an overdose of Viagra.
Mike is offended now. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm not offended.
I know you're not. Go ahead.
Davey Davis says, Jay, your displaying of the Mally chocolates, I think Vanna White has nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I tried to do this, and I noticed when I did it that I was holding it to the wrong camera.
Hey, man.
Like, if you can't get that right, you can't be. But I'm okay with that.
It's all right.
I never aspired to be a Price is Right girl.
Vanna White.
And now I won't.
Vanna White. Shout out to Bob Barker. Everybody get your animals spayed and neutered. That's what I remember.
Yeah, that's
Vanna White, you guys talking about Price is Right. Vanna White was on the Wheel of Fortune.
I know, but
she is the picture of white privilege. Come on. She's getting paid.
Vanna White is a Hall of Famer.
Vanna White stinks. She has no talent.
She is a legend.
She's getting paid for used to being hot.
You said she has no talent. I'm
zero
talent. Say right now.
Yeah.
That she is the best letter flipper that's ever existed.
By the way,
probably the only.
And when I grew up, it was Cash Explosion, it was Wheel of Fortune, then Jeopardy.
Yes.
Every single day.
Every night in my house as well.
And my grandmother, you know what time it is.
Pat Sajak, he sucks too. I can't believe he had that job for that long. Why did they pay him? I would have been a million times better than him, and I would have done it for half the price.
Hating, I did not think.
God, I've never seen such a hater. On this show,
Yeah.
he is hated on some of the most innocuous basketball players
I
ever.
keep it real.
And now he's hated on Vanna White and Pat
and
Sajak.
Charlie Brown.
And Charlie Brown.
The worst TV show in the history of TV.
Now you leave Alex Trebek alone.
Did you ever see Greatest American
I'm all right.
Hero?
That was the worst TV show.
That one takes the cake.
Alex Trebek, I'm good.
You leave him alone.
I mean, he's dead, but I'm good with him.
All right.
I was good with him.
Next one.
He's dead, but I'm good with him.
Yeah, yeah.
Ward.
Next super chat comes from Donnie M. Each one of you guys gets one answer to this.
All right, go.
Donnie says, fellas, I'm flying to town for the game this weekend. Can you give me a restaurant to try out?
Well, I need to know the
each.
budget range. Because I'm saying Marble Room, but, I mean, that's
So
a high-end
you said
restaurant.
Marble Room. That's very
That's my-
fancy, Donnie.
that's mine.
G, what would you say?
Hey, I just was there. I had some really great food the other day. Go to Sweet Port Wilson's. You want some barbecue?
There you go.
Those are great choices. I'm drawing a blank on the name of the pizzeria, Jay, that on the east side.
Delaro's.
Dolores.
Yeah.
Dolores Pizzeria or the Sleepy Rooster for breakfast.
You know what I love most about that? Both of those are my recommendations to you.
Look at that.
Our palates bull.
Similar palate, except you don't
Very
like fish.
similar palates.
You don't eat fish, though.
I do not eat seafood.
Mr. 216.
Clearly why I'm in much better shape. Go ahead.
Mr. 216 says, the only time I can see when tanking worked was when the Spurs lost David Robinson and ended up with the number 1 pick.
That was
and ended up
accident.
with Tim Duncan.
That wasn't a tank.
They was just
They just
bad.
sucked.
They was trying.
Like, they weren't trying.
Their best
to
player
suck.
got hurt. What are you going to do?
When that happens, you got to roll with it.
Yeah.
But that is a
Sly
good
says-
example. That did work for them.
Sly says, we get to watch Naylor, Jimenez, and Bieber in the ALCS today. At least the guards made their yearly big-time free agent signing of Hedges to distract the fans.
So let me ask you a question. If they had all of those guys on the roster, would it have made a difference?
No.
No.
They might have beat Detroit.
But
Josh Naylor, I got to tell you, that dude's been clutch. He was clutch in the
I mean,
DS.
Jimenez has had a terrible season.
Jimenez has been bad. Is Miles? I saw Miles Straw's not in the lineup. Is he hurt?
No, he wasn't playing every day.
Well, he played pretty much every day, I thought.
I think he was just playing against lefties.
Maybe.
He was
thought.
platooning.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He was platooning.
Yeah, but
But he was better this year. He was a serviceable player this year.
they've got Mark Shapiro went from Cleveland to
Toronto,
Toronto.
yeah, still
John
there.
Hart, I think, also did the same thing. He's retired now.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the Toronto Guardians.
yeah. Shout out to the Argonauts.
Miss
Speaking
Bell-
of which, real quick, I know I watched, speaking of the Argonauts, I watched the John Candy documentary.
Oh, I saw that.
On
I thought about
Amazon
it.
Prime.
Is it good?
I'm going to keep it real. I was crying my eyes out. watching
I heard
this.
that there was, I didn't know this was a thing, but
Yeah.
he hated talking about his weight. And I didn't
people
realize
would bring it up all the time.
that the media bullied him over
It
his
was
weight.
crazy. It was crazy.
I read that in
Yeah.
a review of it. I
It's
can't wait to
great.
see that.
Everybody watch it. It's
Yeah.
if you like John Candy at all, it's
he's one of the
awesome.
greatest comedians
It's
ever.
on Prime. It's called I Like Me. Check it out. You're going to cry, though.
All right,
if you
next
have any
super
heart.
chat
Wow.
comes from Miss Bell 70, who says, "Who in their right mind wants to be drafted by the Browns? Why did Stefanski keep Dylan in? If he cares about his players, what can DG do? What can DG do to be deemed not it?"
Oh, he's gonna have a long
Throw a lot of interceptions.
So here's I ask Spencer. Here's the way it happens. If Dylan Gabriel plays mid, right, and it gets to a point where they're still not winning games, it'll come a point where either Andrew Berry, Kevin's, or the owner will say, "Yeah, we might as well just figure it out. We're gonna cut bait on this."
I think he's going to get hurt before any of that happens.
I agree with
Probably.
Bull. I think the equation going on in the Browns front office right now it's exactly what Ross said. It's exactly what Spencer said. He is not the reason this team lost. He has nothing to do with it. He didn't put him on his shoulders, like you said, but that'd be a Herculean effort to put this team on any shoulders. But I think that the way they're exposing him to hits, it's going to happen. You know how there's always theories. There was a theory that was emailed to me. It was too long. I didn't read the whole thing. If this person is watching, it was like 2 pages if I would have printed it. I read the Cliff Notes. The theory was, I see what's going on right now. Haslam wants to see Shedeur. The coaching staff has made the decision that he's not ready. Owner is going to make sure that we Baker our quarterback, so he's hurt and off the field. So now There's no choice.
It's
I didn't even
it's
get
called
to
a
the bottom
baker now.
of it. I didn't even get to the bottom of it because I got about a third of the way through, and then I scanned to see how much of it was left, and I said, I can't do this.
I mean,
I can't do it.
That's
That's where we
so
are.
ridiculous.
But I think that's what's going to happen. I think they have made the decision that of the quarterbacks, Dylan gives them the best chance to win, and he's going to get to play it out until he can't.
I don't even know if they know he's giving the best chance to win. I just think they think he's more ready to play right
They do.
now. That's it.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what they think.
fair.
Bill Rodewald
But that's true or not,
says-
we'll find out.
Bill Rodewald says Colts lose for Luck turned into Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
Dom Cali.
Yeah.
It did. But G's point
Like-
was the whole thing imploded because he got hurt,
Yeah, like
and the quarterback they jettisoned to get him won a Super Bowl.
because like anybody, we keep talking about quarterback, and Andrew Luck could tell you. He got beat up so bad, he didn't even want to be a part. He came in a T-shirt and said, I'm done.
Yeah.
Just woke up one day and said, I can't do it no more.
That's it.
Next.
Dom Cali says, how come the media is largely ignoring Dylan Gabriel hitting Patrick Queen and trying to pull his helmet off after he got a clean hit on him?
Got him.
You got him, Jay?
2 for 2.
He got his cousin. He got his brother and his cousin. He did get both of them.
Yeah, we actually talked
We
about
talked
it.
about that.
Fans liked it.
We liked it. People in where we was at Sweetport Wilson's, the place was packed. People cheered. It was the first feistiness we saw all day.
Yeah,
I think
everyone was-
The rabbit punch?
I know. I get the insinuation of that tweet, but
Yes,
we'll
but-
go down the road.
James Mace Jr. says, Bull, I'm glad you realized that Jordan has always been the GOAT.
I don't know.
I trying to sneak that in.
I cannot believe that I was out of my mind for the last 5 years.
Bull is susceptible to subliminal marketing. They got you in the subliminal Jordan marketing.
I got me on the subliminal. I was caught up in LeBron mania. And it was crazy.
Or
the fact
LeBron-
that I, for a minute, thought LeBron is a better player in his career than Michael Jordan is the stupidest thing I've ever thought in my life.
LeBron said something. What did he say you didn't like, Bull? He said something. You saw LeBron do something. You
Michael
didn't like.
Jordan was embarrassed about being called the best player ever, and LeBron was cocky about it.
Oh, there it is. Bull.
But that was just part of it, G.
cocky.
That
It was
was
a
just
little
part of it.
Yeah, I would disagree.
I don't care
with the part
cocky.
that
I don't care
Jordan
about
is embarrassed
cockiness.
by it.
No, Jordan is the most.
Jordan has ended friendships because the alleged friend said publicly that they thought Jordan wasn't that LeBron's better. And Michael just says, "Oh, you're out of my life."
I
no
just-
use for you.
Jordan,
we don't have time to get into
Jordan
it.
is one of the most petty.
I know he's the
Oh,
most
you aren't
petty.
kidding.
But that was only a small part of my thoughts on it.
Okay.
Michael Jordan, to me, just played in a much tougher era of basketball. And-
That's provably true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Dragon the Abandoner says Mendoza is the clear number 1 quarterback, G.
He might be right.
Is anybody clear? How is it clear?
I don't-
Based on what?
I don't.
Does he have the best stats?
He might be right though.
ESPN put out a mock draft this morning that had him being the number 1 pick.
Is Mendoza a Clevelander?
We're starting
Dante
already.
Moore is from Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
Already starting.
Yeah,
We're
you're right.
basing opinions on mock drafts. That's what we're going to do. We do it every year.
Mateer was it, and then it was Moore. And
Well,
then it was
Mateer,
Mendoza.
because of injury, fell out.
But he just threw like 4 picks the other day. 4 picks.
Yeah.
No, he
All
was
right, Mike.
bad. James Mace Jr. said, if the Browns get boat raced on Sunday, would Kevin be in serious trouble? We did a whole topic on that. So
Yes.
Yeah, check it out.
we don't have to address it again. Kirk, in real life, says this tank talk is disgusting and especially disrespectful to the defense.
I agree.
Stop moving the goalposts. The coach and the quarterback are the biggest issue right now. Who thinks Miles is tanking? Stop it. Start Shador.
He had that. You
Boom,
stuck
boom,
that
boom,
in the thing.
boom, boom.
He was like, yeah.
like whack-a-mole.
Bow. Yeah, got you.
It's unfair to say
12.
the quarterback is the biggest issue right now. However,
It's not
I
the
think
biggest
this idea that he's not to blame at all for the loss, I don't agree with that. He's part of the
No, I
problem.
don't think anybody said he's not to blame at all.
Yeah.
I think what Ross and Spencer were saying was he's not the reason they lost.
He's not the biggest
I
reason.
mean,
No,
yeah,
I
he's
agree
not
with
the
that.
single biggest reason they lost. But he's the quarterback.
I just think. I mean, look. I don't think it's anything. He's anything special. It's just what it is. That's what he's gonna get. He's gonna play in the league a long time as a backup or something. But I don't. He's gonna have to. Like he would have to. What would he have to do for me to say, oh, he's gonna be the franchise? I mean, he would have to exponentially, like.
Which may be impossible.
It's
With this
because I think his main limitation is his size, stature, and the fact that he can't see certain people in the pocket.
I know, but I hear that, and I feel that too, G. And there's a picture that we keep showing when we cycle through. It looks like it's photoshopped. It looks like someone made him a tiny person.
And
But
Photoshop's
it's
a
real.
lot, but
But
it's not
I
in
would
those
say
pictures.
this: he is this much shorter than the front runner for the MVP right now.
But Baker.
So I just can't say that.
We got to take it down a notch on the front runner for the MVP since it's 6 weeks, but he's played great.
No, I know. I'm not saying he's going to be the front runner for 12 or he's going to win it.
But
But
it
the front runner
took
right
Baker
now.
a long time
to
to
figure
overcome
out
his height issues.
And Baker
But he
has
did it.
way.
He
but
has
Baker
done it now,
has
yes.
way more arm talent than
Way more.
That is undeniable
Way
too.
more.
Way more
But
arm
once
talent.
upon a time, I heard people on this panel say he didn't have enough arm talent.
Hey, listen, Baker has way more. Listen, Baker can throw the ball through a wall. Skip Bayless used to talk about it.
I know.
He has
I've always
torque,
thought that, but
the torque in his body.
But this panel used to regularly take shot at his arm talent.
I don't know. It was about an arm.
Oh, no,
talent.
I sat here and heard
It's
it.
about his clutch ability when he was.
Yeah,
he
but I
was
also heard people say he doesn't have a strong arm on this panel.
Okay.
Say that.
Maybe we said
He's
it.
also
I don't know.
technically third in the MVP rank right now.
Right.
So.
I've read 2 articles this morning that say he's
I mean,
clear
writing
front
an
runner.
article about who the
in
MVP
fact,
is after
one
6
just
weeks.
came up. Yeah, it's stupid.
You should be fired for that.
It's stupid because
Yeah.
he could throw
That's a
4
fireable
picks
thing,
next week
right?
and then he's
I'm
out of
just
the
looking at
conversation.
FanDuel
But
right now.
right
he is
now,
the third best odds.
he is where he is.
Yeah, third.
We take
In the
him.
odds. In the odds. I'm just saying, in the odds.
In the odds,
Yeah.
he's third, so he's
He's
not the
third.
favorite.
Well, I just read 2 different articles this morning that ranked MVP types, and he was clearly
But
number
in-
1 in both.
Well, but he was third in the odds.
And by the way,
Yeah.
the odds don't always get it right.
But
I
in
hear
the
you.
hearts and minds,
Neither does some random Joe on writing an article. Go ahead.
the hearts and minds
Yeah.
of the bigger
All right,
bros,
next
he
one.
would always be the number 1.
That's right. He should
Look,
be.
I get it.
Next
you guys,
one.
I get it. I don't blame you. I'd be pissing on his choice for a chance for an MVP
Jay,
too.
no.
If I sat up here for 2 years
Jay,
and,
I bet
and
I'm-
screamed from my lungs
Jay,
that he's no good,
I
he's
bet
going
I'm
to be the
Baker
MVP,
because
I'd
we
drive me
talk
nuts.
to him.
I think we've apologized enough.
No. Oh, no, I haven't drawn enough. I have not drawn enough blood out of that turnip.
Get your money
Not
off.
even
Get
close.
your money
Jay,
off.
You guys better root against him.
Jay,
you better hope he doesn't go to a Super
Jay,
Bowl.
you wanted a massive extension for Jameis Winston last year. We haven't brought it up once since then. Massive extension. Why doesn't Jay have to
Hey.
apologize for the massive Jameis Winston extension?
Wait, hold
You
on.
wanted a massive extension
Hold on.
for him.
Watch
Or we
this.
said Brock Purdy's better
Watch
than Josh
this.
Allen.
Yeah.
I think we'd be a better football team with Jameis Winston on the team right now.
Irrelevant.
Irrelevant, but
It'd be
it's better
just
than
as
what we
terrible.
have.
No.
Yes.
Signing him to a massive extension would have been a stupid
Wait,
move.
by massive extension, remember when we talked about the numbers? I said give him $5 million. No
You
one
did
else
not
will.
say $5 million. You said $25 million. Look it up. Look it up. You just accused us of saying things. I'm going to accuse
You're
you.
nuts.
You also said Brock Purdy was better than Josh Allen. Great. One of the worst takes of all time.
I'm not convinced he's not. I
Well,
watched Josh
then
Allen.
you're on
I watched
drugs.
Josh Allen in his last game look like he was
It's
blindfolded.
one game, Jay. There's
Just saying.
there's no person on the planet that thinks Brock Purdy is anywhere in the ballpark as Josh Allen. Not to mention, you continuously said Isaiah Bond wasn't open on a play where he was the most open I've ever seen a receiver in the NFL.
and McNuggets.
So we all make mistakes.
Wait.
I effed up
Is
on
there any
Baker.
hyperbole?
I totally have talked about it 1,000 times.
You're not done.
Baker's good.
You're not
Has
done.
been great.
Because as someone pointed out to me the other day,
Yeah.
it's the biggest single take in the history of your show. And they're not wrong.
By the
It's
way,
the Baker take.
and who said, and I mistakenly said that there was no fire on the show today. Looks like
Well, there wasn't until we got the Super
Yeah,
Chat.
until the
yeah,
Super
Super
Chat.
What does
came
that
out.
tell you? What does that
That we
tell
need
you?
more super chats. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Welcome to Super Chats.
By the
today.
way, that super chat was about Shador and somehow turned into Baker,
Right.
Josh Allen, and
By the
Brock
way,
Purdy.
Jay said Aaron Savali for Kyle Manzardo was a bad trade.
he got
I
you.
did.
Oh,
Now,
you were
on that
wrong
one-
about that.
On that one,
You
I
were
have
wrong
since
about
said
that.
I was wrong.
I never heard you say you were wrong.
Oh, no, I've said
Never.
it many times.
Never.
I've said it many
we
times.
have a lot more, guys.
I've said it many
I'm
times.
having fun busting Jay's balls. Come on, let's go.
I would too. I mean,
Yeah.
I've got the Baker hammer, and I'm going to use
You
it.
got the Baker hammer. You got it.
And I'm
You got
going to use
the
it, damn it.
whack-a-mole.
You got
No
it.
whammy, no whammy.
You got the Baker hammer.
Better hope he
no
doesn't
one
win
can
a Super
deny that.
Bowl, guys.
Triz says, Bull making blanket statements on Flacco being no good, but watch the same Bengals game I did as a fan. Come on, Bull, stop being obtuse. It's Stefanski's fault.
What? I don't even understand that.
He's saying basically, what's the name, threw 2 touchdowns.
Okay. The
And
Bengals
he-
were losing, so who cares?
He was like, but he ain't throw them. He want them touchdowns.
Is there a
too.
piece of you that
Yeah.
thinks that Flacco can beat the Steelers this weekend?
Yeah, sure. It's one
I
game.
think he can. I'm not saying he will.
I don't think I wouldn't pick them to win. I mean, the Bengals are at home on a Thursday night game. That's a big advantage for Thursday night.
And Thursday night, he's a GOAT. On Thursday nights, Flacco's a GOAT.
But they're not going to the playoffs with Joe Flacco. And Burrow's coming back maybe with 3 weeks left, and he's not going to come back if they don't have a chance.
If Flacco takes this Bengals team to the playoffs, which, by the way, all they're going to have to do is overcome Pittsburgh. No one in this division is getting a wild card.
Yeah, but
if he's able to do that, like keep them afloat until,
I'd be very impressed.
Would you in December?
Yeah.
Because this has happened a couple of times in history.
Don't you
famously with the undefeated 1972 Dolphins.
Don't you say it.
When their starting quarterback Brian Greasy got hurt, they had a backup come in and play very, very well. Then you're forced to say, do we mess with this chemistry?
No, I would 100% take him out.
He's out.
He's not in for a second.
What if they go 9-0 between now and then?
I mean, what are the odds? What are the odds of that?
What if we get in the rest of the super chats before 1:15? How about that?
Yeah. I like that. I like
that. Bad
idea.
idea.
Spicy.
If they're 9-0 with Joe Flacco, I'll say keep him in.
There we go. So that's what he has to do.
9-0, and I'm in, Joe.
And listen, I would be with you on that.
It's about $1 million to one
Sorry,
shot.
Joe, you've lost your job. You got Wally pipped.
Dragon the Abandoner says 100% we're going to end up with Josh McDaniels as our head coach.
No, you're not.
That's not going to happen.
Because Jimmy's not going to clear house of everybody.
No.
He'll never do that. He'll never give up control.
No.
Patrick Blaney says Browns need to change mentality. I'm 24 and everyone I know stopped watching the Browns. Don't wait till 29. There will be no fans left.
That's a young fan's take because I'm hearing from young fans that say, I'm watching all the old people in my life be miserable every Sunday, and I'm going to learn from that, and I have a new favorite team. They're the Lions. Yeah. I heard that.
There's a lot of young fans that root for other teams now.
Yes.
A lot of Bills.
Yes.
You know, when we were kids,
we had to watch our team.
Yeah, and I was the anomaly that rooted for a different team than my home team. That was way less common then because you couldn't see other teams play.
Well, your family situation is the exact reason why the Browns have the national following they have.
Yep.
Right.
Your dad
was a Browns fan.
Was a Browns fan.
Yeah.
Why? Probably because Jim Brown was so dominant.
Well, and he loved Paul Brown.
And Paul Brown.
Loved Paul Brown.
But it was actually the two of them, Paul Brown, Jim Brown.
That's right.
It pulled in fans from all over the country. But today's fan, to your point where you were going with this, if I want to watch all the Bills games
watch
now,
whatever I want.
I can.
Any day
if I want to watch all the Lions games now,
that's right.
I can. And I'm hearing more and more from
100%.
younger fans say, I am not going to go down the path that you went down. It's led to a life of sports misery for you.
The kids on my teams, they root for the Chiefs, they root for the Bills, they root for all these other teams.
Yeah. Different time.
Bill Rodewalt says, G finally came around yesterday. Gabriel and Shador are our quarterbacks next year. Our future quarterback is in 2027.
Oh, boy. That
just keep kicking that can down the road.
Woo! Because, listen, that quarterback coach, general manager, we
By the way, to be fair, I threw Jay under the bus for the Jameis Winston. G. Bush was on that bus, too.
You
were on that bus, too.
I wasn't driving.
I think he said $50 million.
I wasn't driving.
100.
But them
I said 230 guaranteed for 5 years. That's what I said. Let's get it right. And let's give up 6 draft picks for him.
A-Pain Thresh Savage says Shador thrived all while having the worst line in the FBS, no run game at all, and still became one of the best quarterbacks. He's a walking defibrillator for culture. Let Shador bring this franchise back to life in spite of the offensive line.
I got to use that. I'm going to give you credit for it. Walking defibrillator is crazy.
I like the shortening it to defib.
Because if you use that on a regular person, they might actually die.
They could. Yeah.
That's like
B. Haas says AB and management are playing 4D chess while the rest of the NFL is playing football. If you can't win games, you change the definition of success to save your job.
I like that.
Truth to that.
That's very
4D chess makes it sound like they're geniuses, and I can't give them that.
No, that's true.
Yeah, but
3D chess would be one thing. You're playing 4D chess, you're like one of one if you can do that.
4D chess, there's no space and time. That's a tesseract.
Cache says Michael Irvin said it best, hope dictates effort.
Yeah.
It can.
Michael Irvin was.
I thought Ross Tucker's take was interesting where he said, he kind of countered that and said, well, the guys on the fringe play harder.
Yeah, right.
And that's probably something to that, but it's the all-stars and your superstars that set the culture for everybody else.
Yeah, 100%.
David Walker says, I believe that Shador would score more and allow the defense the rest it needs to be legendary the rest of the season. However, the play calling has to change.
Okay.
Well, unfortunately for Shador, I think the same guy is going to be calling the plays when he's quarterback.
Hey, man, he's gonna be having to ask, hey, can I throw deep?
Yeah, he's got to pull up Bernie Kosar and
just
call
do
an
what he
audible
wants.
in the dirt
Yeah.
and draw it up and just run it. And if it works, then you come back to the sidelines and go.
And if not,
right.
if you're not, you're
That's
going to be better. We got to be better, and we can't call audibles at the line of scrimmage.
We got to be better, and we will be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dragon the Abandoner says, there's always excuses for Miles in the defense. The Brian Billick Ravens never needed a shiny, high-scoring offense to be locked in. There's no real leaders on the defense. That's the problem.
It's a different sport than it was 20 years ago.
There you go.
B, they had how many Hall of Famers did they have on that defense?
Do you ding the part of what he said about there's no leaders on this
Oh,
defense?
no, I agree with that.
I agree with
100%.
that, too. Our best players are Denzel and Miles, and they're wonderful players, but they're not dogs. They're not
In terms
Ray
of
Lewis
leadership.
leading 11 men in a fight circle before you go out to play.
Here's the problem. When you losing for that long and they've been
It's
here
hard
that
to-
long,
yeah.
But they weren't that guy early in their careers
but
either.
it's
They're
hard-
quiet. They're both quiet guys.
But it's hard to ding them for leadership when the leaders are leading you into death. And
no.
destruction.
In the absence of leaders, true leaders are born.
I mean,
So I disagree with that.
Some people are
if
leaders.
there's no leader in the room, the real leader with the DNA of the leader is going to step forward. He's going to recognize the void of leadership, and he's going to say, "I've got this. Follow me."
I mean, I think DNA does make you somewhat who you are, but I do think is fight or flight, nature and nurture. It's like either
Brian Billick wasn't.
And I'm going to pull us right
leader.
back. Baker is that leader now. He wasn't here. We needed the Baker
Yes.
now type of leader.
He did try. I think he tried here. I think he got squashed by some.
I also
developed.
don't think he knew how to do it.
He didn't know how to do it.
He developed.
You're right.
it.
He developed it. Yeah.
And like any skill set, it can evolve.
It was there, but it wasn't
Yes.
developed.
'Cause he
Now
was
it's
that guy at
developed.
Oklahoma.
A little polish.
At Oklahoma, he was that guy.
Right.
But when he came to the NFL, I think he tried to be that guy, and there were a lot of guys in the room going, "Step down, Pony. We've got this. You're not the leader." Now he is.
Yeah.
Frank Nitty says, tell Jay he can thank the UCSS views record to Shador.
Oh, that's definitely a fact.
Oh, no, listen, hey, matter
no
of
doubt.
fact.
Well,
Hey.
yeah, but I don't think it had anything to do with yesterday.
Give him the trophy.
On Monday,
On Monday, I mean.
it
Yeah.
did. Oh, yeah.
He didn't play.
They're
doesn't
here
matter.
to hate on Dylan.
We understand that there's
If that's the case, we're really in trouble.
we understand that
We're
there's a
doomed.
lot, that there are a segment of the viewers who don't care about us, don't care about the show, don't care about the Browns. They only care about Shador Sanders, and we're happy to have them.
Yeah, thanks for the
Yeah.
patronage. Keep
There you go.
watching.
Keep pulling up, man. We
We
here.
appreciate
Yeah,
all of
I
you.
just don't know.
And by the way, there are some people there are people that want to see him play.
Of course.
They want to see him.
Who are regular Browns fans.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. I want to
think
see him
that-
play.
Listen, I think the majority of Browns fans, and I hate to speak for the majority, but the ones I speak to, this nonsense that we're 4-1 and against the other, that's ridiculous. They both
that's-
wear orange helmets. We're for whichever one is better.
You can do two things at
Therefore,
once.
you have to see both of them
Yeah,
play.
I think most people want to see
And
them
I
both
think
play.
most people want to see both play, but you can't give Dylan Gabriel a 1 or 2 game tryout and then give Shador a 1 or 2 game tryout and then say to Dylan, we're going back to you. You've already crushed his confidence.
Some people be like, bro, you're not as demonstrative. I said, listen, I wouldn't be me and who I am and be honest about it. I'm going to give Dylan Gabriel grace, and he's going to get a runway. I can't then say, if I don't give him grace in a runway, that if
Shador
Shador
doesn't
gets in the
deserve the
game
same grace.
and he get two games, I'm going to be like, hold on.
No.
G. Bush didn't say that that Dylan played one bad game and he was done. Nobody said that. So you got to keep it that same energy. You got to give him an opportunity
What's
to
a
show what he
fair
can
number
do.
for you? Someone asked me this the other day, and I said, if I have to put a number on it, which is very hard to do, it's 6. I can
thinking 6 to 8.
I think it might be 8, but we don't have 8 because I want each guy to get the same amount.
So if
Dylan gets 6, Shador gets 6.
I was thinking somewhere between the 5, but it all depends. It's 5 or 6 range. If he continues not being the problem, like they lose,
He gets more?
He gets this somewhere within the 6 range. I don't know how many games is left in the season.
11.
Yeah.
So it's 11. So I'm putting it around 5. It's a 5-6ish, right? If I can get
from
both
now.
From now.
From now.
Yeah, it depends how he plays. I mean, if he plays great, then you're not
he gets
I
more.
wouldn't pull him out at all.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to happen.
A lot of people
personally,
keep saying, "Well, he hasn't thrown any interceptions."
Yeah, that's not enough.
He threw 3 last week.
It
In
was
my mind, he threw
5.
3 interceptions last week.
It could have been 5.
Yeah, he
But-
threw a lot of balls that hit the Steelers' hands.
But I have to keep the same energy because then if it happens, I can always go to you and say, nah.
Yeah, you're
we're
not getting
gonna-
Dylan, you're not getting Shador out of here after 1 or 2.
Right.
You got to keep it real.
And by
Keep
the
it a
way,
buck.
after Shador, there's really no one left.
No.
You're not gonna.
Play
What's
Bailey.
the point at that point? Play
Yeah.
Bailey Zappi,
No.
Right, none.
to determine he's not the one.
No.
I think
Right.
we know that.
I think you want to see Shador get at least 5 games minimum before the end of the season.
That'd be a very good number.
And
Yes.
the only reason you wouldn't is if he somehow got hurt as a backup, practice or
Right.
something. Or
Dylan
if Dylan
plays
Gabriel's
well.
fantastic.
If Dylan
You know.
turns a corner,
Yeah.
and starts to play well and throwing touchdowns and
Yeah.
still no picks, and they're winning here
yeah,
and there,
then you're not going to do it.
then it's going to be really hard for Kevin Stefanski to take
Right.
him out.
Go ahead,
Next
Mike.
one, Mr. I crap and shits. Chances
Yeah.
the loser of the Bronze versus Dolphins will be the first coach fired. By the way, I'm leaving the W out of the name until they get a win.
I think if the Dolphins lose, McDaniel's gone. I think if the Browns lose, they're not going to fire him during the middle of the season.
No, I don't think
But
so
that
either.
could put that's a file that will be tucked away until
Could be the beginning of the end.
I think
Yes.
we all agree that he's not going to be fired in the middle of the season. We haven't talked about this. It happened before here. Do any of you guys see a scenario where he loses play calling? Because that's the intermediate step
you
to
mean
being
like
fired.
the owner or somebody forces him to?
Front office comes down and says, "No, I want to see what Tommy can
I
do."
think it's unlikely.
Okay.
Well, that we would know about it publicly. If he did that, they'd spin it as if it was his decision.
Sure, but like they did the first time around.
I think it would be, if it was me, I think it'd be very smart for him to do it. Because if, say, for instance, he does get play calling up and say Shador Sanders becomes a hit or looks well, they're not going to fire Stefanski.
No, that's true.
He would completely keep his job.
Sure.
And he still could oversee.
Or if Dylan Gabriel suddenly starts balling out with the new play caller,
he would.
But I think what we'd have moving forward is, Kevin, you're the head coach.
And that's it.
But you will not be the offensive coordinator again.
There it is. And he could even spin it, I wanted to spend time on the rest of the team.
Well, he spun it with Dorsey came in. He gave that whole.
Yeah.
So it would be probably smart. I would try it.
All right, Mike.
Next, Dragon the Abandoner says Dylan should have thrown 5 picks.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's not wrong.
Next.
Sly says, I think we have a new leader in the Kool-Aid Mafia.
Yep.
Who's that?
Don't know.
Bull.
Me?
Yeah.
Who is the new leader of the Kool-Aid
think so.
Mafia?
There can't be a leader of the Kool-Aid Mafia. I mean,
G. Bush is the Kool-Aid Mafia.
I am
G.
him.
Bush invented it. There's never
Yeah.
be anybody take
Nobody else
that
can
perch.
take that
And I'm the leader of Project Stockpile. We still looking
right.
for this stockpile stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I miss? The People's Champ. Where's your belt?
Hey, listen, the belt always stays with me. It's in the studio. I just had to tell myself you're great.
Okay. I don't.
After taking the mails, we stopped playing games, McNuggets. Where's the games? You got to be.
Can't do games in football season.
Well, you know what? If this thing goes south and we're 1-8,
We're close.
we need games. We need games.
we better figure something.
We can't talk about those games as much.
Like we need these games.
close.
All right.
Yeah.
Bob Schrack says Dylan has faced 2 good defenses on the road. Let's see how things look versus Miami, and if it doesn't look better, then get Shador ready.
That's
And I'm a
fair.
Dylan supporter.
Very
That's
fair
fair.
point. Very fair point.
Look how metric that is.
Yeah.
Dragon the Abandoner said Dylan's mobility was oversold. It's not there.
I think he's just a little bit. The stature, his legs be moving, but not really going nowhere. Like it's
Yeah, I
hard
don't know
to-
that. Was he? Did anybody? He was never in the category of a scrambling quarterback.
No,
So
no.
I don't think it was oversold.
But neither
can
is
he move?
Shador.
Yes, but he did not do that Sunday. He didn't make the slip and slide move that bought him a lot of extra time.
It's the Steelers. I mean,
They came after him from all
It's hard to
sides.
slip and slide against the Steelers.
Yeah, that's a
Yes.
fact.
Pause.
All right, Brad Schrack also says if Cleveland wins and the defense look competent, then give DG some breathing room.
That's what happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Complimentary football helps all.
And
rising
especially
tide.
if you get some wins.
A rising tide. All boats come up.
Yep.
All right, next one from Miss Bell. Ross, if Dylan did good, then Shador is good. He can do that too.
Yes, faith in her
Speculation,
guy.
Your Honor.
Faith in her guy.
Speculation, Your Honor. We're going to find out.
Yeah.
We're going to find out.
D4L Josh says the Kevin guys are out in the chat.
I don't know what that means. Don't know.
The Kevin Camp, the Stefanski,
Stefanski defenders.
the Beard Mafia. Beard Mafia is
Beard
here.
Mafia.
Are we getting a lot of super chats that are pro Kevin Stefanski?
Not super chats, I guess just regular chats.
Yeah.
Oh, just the sub chats.
Okay.
The regular.
Lessons and Legends says no quarterback in college right now is better than Shador. Draft 2 tackles in the first. Build around Shador.
Oh, let me tell you this. Let's get to this, McNuggets. Oh, we got all kind of rundowns and contingency plans. If there will be all off season, if any one of these quarterbacks shows any sort of promise, there will be a tide of people saying, "Oh no, we're not going to take no quarterback." And there's going to be people that are going to say, "Yeah, I need this guy, this guy, this guy, or this guy."
Possible, but it just depends. This is there's two parts to this problem. It's what's available. And what's available, I have to tell you, I think the Ohio State quarterback at this point is the best quarterback in college football, and he's not eligible.
And let me tell you something. Listen, what people are saying, and I understand what y'all saying. If Arch Manning had Shador Sanders' college numbers, they would tell him to chill out. If he had them numbers,
he'd be number one.
He'd be the number. If you give his numbers, and you know what them dudes, they would like sit down, Kate, and listen. Just
fact.
So
All right.
I get what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Mike,
How many more do we have?
Two more.
Okay.
Oh,
And then we're doing overtime.
Yeah.
So
All right.
Kyle Benner says
I can't do
suck for
overtime.
luck.
I got to be upstairs.
Pause.
Yeah.
And Dragon the Abandoner says, I hope you guys are ready for Stefanski's Ravens to win the 2027 Super Bowl.
Hey, you know what? That's what life throws at Browns fans.
Hey, listen, by the way, if Stefanski gets another job and goes somewhere and does it, salute to you.
No, wouldn't it be ironic if what would be worse than that is for some reason they make a change in Tampa, which certainly doesn't look like that's coming anytime soon, but he goes down to the Buccaneers and he and Baker win a Super Bowl together.
Would you take him?
That would be worse.
Zach Taylor? Yes or no?
I would. Wow. I mean, he wouldn't be my choice, but I would. He's
over Zach Taylor.
If I had to choose between Stefanski and Zach Taylor, I'd take Stefanski, but I don't want either of them really.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you on overtime. Jeff Shadell is going viral.
Peace.
Is it gone viral?
I don't know. I'm just.
Oh.